The 3-0 East Carolina Pirates, led by Skip Holtz, are the current darlings of college football. Today they face the Wolfpack of North Carolina State, coached by Tom O'Brien.
Let's go Pirates! Let's go Wolfpack!
This is one of the more underrated rivalries in college football, with only 75 miles separating these two schools. The Pirates continue to search for undefeated treasure, but the Wolfpack are hungry for a win. Welcome to ESPN College Football, presented by Cars.com. Carter-Finley Stadium in Raleigh, North Carolina State, and number 15, East Carolina. The Pirates, despite a scare at Tulane last week, are 3-0 for the first time in 9 years. North Carolina State has won the toss and will defer until the second half. So East Carolina will start with the football. Bradley Pearson to kick off. Dwayne Harris to receive for ECU. Instead, Jonathan Williams will take it for the Pirates. And Williams grabbed shy of the 20-yard line and thrown down by Patrick Apple. So Patrick Pinckney, who has become one of the darlings in the early going here among college football fans, with a completion percentage of 76, 4 touchdown passes, only 1 interception. He barely played in East Carolina's loss to NC State a year ago, fumbled on the first play of that game. And Skip Holtz, the head coach for the Pirates, warned us this week that, hey, NC State, even though it's 1-2, beat us last year in Greenville at 1-5. And the Pirates will run it straight ahead on first down to Brandon Simmons, and he gets maybe 2 out to the 22.
Yeah, Brandon Simmons is their physical back. They're going to use Patrick Pinckney. You mentioned the fact 76% on the season. That ties him for 6th in the country. Jamar Bryant is their threat to get down the field and into the end zone. And a guy I really like, Jonathan Williams. I think he's a difference maker when he's in the game for East Carolina in the backfield.
Yeah, he had 2 touchdowns in that great win over West Virginia when the Mountaineers were ranked 8th in the country week 2. Pinckney to throw on second down, going deep. And down there is Dwayne Harris, and he makes the catch for a first down at the 44.
Well, they've got 2 playmakers on the outside. We talked a little bit about Jamar Bryant, but on the other side, Dwayne Harris is a guy as well that can make plays. A nice little smash route, 6-yard hitch on the other side, corner route by the inside slot receiver, and Patrick Pinckney on time with the football.
So first down for ECU. Patrick Pinckney completed 11 straight passes against Tulane last week, led a comeback. They were trailing, but he marched them down the field 80 yards for the game-winning score with under 2 minutes to play. Brandon Simmons ripped down by Nate Irving, who's been terrific this season for NC State. You see the starting lineups first for ECU at the top of your screen.
Well, you talk about Nate Irving. He is the playmaker for North Carolina State defensively. Intercepted the game's first pass and played last week against Clemson and returned it for a touchdown. He's had 3 interceptions in the first 3 games of the season for the Wolfpack. An interception in each game.
Pinckney gives to Simmons on second down. Maybe got back to the original line of scrimmage. Leroy Burgess, a junior from Columbia, South Carolina, made the stop.
Well, it's just been who's who. They lost their best defensive lineman, Cash, up front to knee surgery, and it's just kind of been moving around the parts. Shea McKean, Antoine Holmes, Leroy Burgess, all those guys, Willie Young may be the best pass rusher of those guys up front.
Yeah, the injuries have just been outrageous, says Tom O'Brien. We'll talk more about that as we go along. East Carolina 46% on third down this year. Pinckney being chased on 3rd and 10. And had to throw it away. So East Carolina forced to punt on its first possession.
Well, that's the plan for Mike Archer, the defensive coordinator for North Carolina State. Play good defense on first down and get off the field on third down as well. He's going to bring some pressure on third down and long type situations on Pinckney because he feels like Patrick Pinckney does not like the pressure.
TJ Graham, who's a dangerous true freshman, back to receive the punt from Matt Dodge. It's a good kick, and Graham lets it sail inside the 5, and it's downed at the 2. Great job by Emmanuel Davis, a redshirt freshman, to down it inside the 5 after a terrific punt. Russell Wilson making his first home start today for North Carolina State, one of your impact players, Andre.
Yeah, Russell Wilson. He's got to play with a little bit of consistency today. Only a 42% passer, but a 2-sport star. He stars in baseball as well. Andre Brown, a big physical back that they'll get the football to. His goal this year is to go over 1,000 yards. And a guy that just moved over this season to the offensive side of the football, Ted Larson, their center. Never snapped before in his life. Never even played on offense before.
Yeah, that's interesting that you got 2 players that were converted defensive linemen now starting an offense, as Wilson does a good job to get away from pressure and actually complete that pass to Eric Weaver, who's a freshman tight end, a walk-on. Russell Wilson, 5'11", 190 pounds, at least that's what he's listed at. Suffered a horrible looking concussion against South Carolina. A lot of folks thought it was much worse. He was taken to the hospital. It was discovered that he didn't have any spinal cord damage. And he could have come back, says Tom O'Brien, against William & Mary the next week. He only played 1 snap in that game as the holder, but he did start against Clemson in a loss a week ago. Here's a running play to Brown, and he gets to the 5. Stood up by Zach Slate, the left defensive end.
Well, it's a swarming defense for Greg Hudson. He's going to have guys all over the field. They've got a lot of juniors and seniors on this defensive front. Zach Slate there, he is a playmaker, kind of a hybrid, a high motor player who they'll move around on the defensive line, give North Carolina State a lot of different looks, and may confuse a guy like Ted Larson and John Beddix, 2 guys that were on the defensive side that now play on the offensive line for NC State.
Brown on 3rd and 7, and NC State happy to punt. Harrison Beck came in the game at quarterback for that play. A better passer than Russell Wilson. We'll see a lot of him today. The Wolfpack, after that great punt by Dodge, will have to boot it away themselves.
Well, Skip Holtz and his Pirates team, they passed the first test in terms of field position. They're going to have excellent field position here because of the punt of Matt Dodge. So Dana Bible planted a little conservative offensively with a young quarterback like Russell Wilson.
Bradley Pearson to boot it away to Dwayne Harris, and the Pirates got close to blocking it. Remember, they beat Virginia Tech on a block punt return for a touchdown. Here's a muff, and then it's scooped up by Darryl Freeney, luckily for East Carolina. Good coverage downfield by NC State.
That changed the field position in a hurry.
You know, this is one of the great rivalries that people don't talk about. NC State, that's what they do here. Watch Ren Willis and some of these Carolina Pirate fans mocking the Wolfpack here in Raleigh. Can they beat him, though? Patrick Pinckney on 2nd down, fires incomplete, intended for Darryl Freeney. They ran for 5 yards on 1st down. DeAndre Morgan broke it up for North Carolina State.
Well, here's that plan of Mike Archer again to get to 3rd down and then get his young defense off the field. So, you know, you look at it, Skip Holtz there trying to find the magic on 3rd down with that guy right there, Nate Irving. You look for him to bring the heat. This is where they like to come against Patrick Pinckney.
Wolfpack showing pressure here, and here they come. Pinckney has time as the blitz was picked up, but the pass was out of bounds. Intended again for Freeney with Jeremy Gray covering, and the Pirates will have to punt for the 2nd time.
Well, this young defense, and I'm talking about a lot of injuries to this unit. They moved J.C. Neal, he's usually a corner, back to strong safety. A lot of juggling of parts for Mike Archer, but they passed the test in the first 2 possessions. against ECU.
Yeah, they're flying to the football right now, covering downfield. Graham going to field this one at the 9. Dangerous play there by the true freshman. And nowhere to run. About 7 Pirates down there, led by DJ McFadden. Yes, after last time when he let it go inside the 5 and the Pirates downed it at the 2, he felt he needed to field that one. NC State backed up again, scoreless in the first quarter. So far in Raleigh, East Carolina's offense hasn't been able to do much, but 2 excellent punts by Matt Dodge. And North Carolina State, for the second time today, has to start a drive inside the 10. And Wilson going to throw, had time, but takes off. Everybody covered downfield, and Wilson hit by Pierre Bell after a gain of only 2. It's going to be interesting, Andre. The big question for East Carolina is how do they play as the hunted after wins over Virginia Tech and West Virginia. Didn't play that great last week against Tulane. Now they lose Quentin Cotton, one of their best defensive players. You
know, I think everybody's kind of getting themselves upset for no reason with the Tulane game last week. They lost their left tackle early in that ballgame. They lost one of their best playmakers on the defensive side in Quentin Cotton. I think East Carolina, Skip Holtz, has this team focused. They'll play well in this game today, Dave.
Cotton with a season-ending knee injury, and he is a leader as well. And Pierre Bell, a guy that's trying to fill in for him. Defensive coordinator Greg Hudson says we've got to replace the plays, not the player. And Pierre Bell makes the stick there, so 3rd down. East Carolina faced with some adversity really for the first time in that game against Tulane, and now with those injuries, how do they respond against an ACC school?
Well, you hold on to the football first and foremost if you're the offense for East Carolina. 4 turnovers in that ball game against Tulane is what really kept Tulane in the game. They lose their best playmaker, Quentin Cotton. He's their quarterback of the defense, so to speak. They compare him to Patrick Pinckney being on the other side of the football, but senior leadership, they've got plenty of it.
And they got an interception here. Van Eskridge on the redirection picks it off inside the 10. Eskridge to the goal line. Touchdown, East Carolina. Harrison Beck was the quarterback for the 2nd straight series. NC State brings in a different quarterback on 3rd down.
Oh, and it's thrown a little bit behind him, but Nick Johnson is the guy that delivered the blow to disrupt the receiver from the football, and Van Eskridge right there, Johnny on the spot, and to the end zone.
Extra point good by Ben Hartman. What do you think about bringing in a different quarterback on 3rd down?
I've never agreed with it. I think you play one quarterback until you decide that he's not getting the job done. But if you start one guy, the other one's Cole. Right here, you see it. He comes in the game. He's coming in. Harrison Beck is the is the cooler of the 2 because he's not starting. He's waiting around the first couple of series of this game, and then he comes in, throws it behind his intended receiver, and then Van Eskridge right there with the recipient of a bad pass and a tip. And that's what DBs work on, that tip drill. And he was right there for it to go and then take it in for a score.
Yeah, Nick Johnson broke it up. But again, they took Russell Wilson out on 3rd down in the first series, brought Beck in, they handed it off. Now they bring Beck in on 3rd down in this series for his first throw, and he's not even close.
I do not agree with it. I can't stand the idea of just juggling quarterbacks, especially when it's, down by down. Or let a guy go until he proves to you that he cannot get it done, and then you make the change and ride with the other guy. If you have to come back with Russell Wilson later in the game because Harrison Beck's not getting it done, that's fine. But as a quarterback, you do not want to be on a yo-yo.
Van Eskridge, nicknamed Friendly Fire by his teammates, because if you're in the area and he comes up with a big hit, you might get a shot as well inadvertently. Dodge kicking off to T.J. Graham. Graham across the 20-yard line. Cut it back to the 30. Graham pretty dangerous in the open field. Gets to the 34 as we say hello to Reese Davis for the first time today. Reese.
Dave, Andre, Taco Bell studio update, and Jim Tressel might be coming around to your way of thinking, Andre. Terrell Pryor to Rory Nickel. Pryor started the game, was in there for 8 of the 9 plays on the 60-yard drive. That was his only pass. He ran it 4 times, and the Buckeyes on top of Troy by 7.
See, that's what I'm talking about right there. Make a decision to go with a guy and you leave him in the football game. Terrell Pryor off to a good start for Ohio State.
Well, whoever the quarterback has been for NC State, they have not been able to get it in the end zone since November against Wake Forest, and that was a running play by Jamel Eugene. 215 plays now without a touchdown as Wilson gets it to 38. They did get a couple scores against William and Mary, but we're talking about FBS schools.
You know, not to beat this drum too long, Dave, but then, you know, Russell Wilson back in the football game. Now, you don't give your quarterbacks a chance to develop a rhythm. Don't give a chance to allow the game to come to them when they're in and out and they're juggled back and forth like that.
But it's not like Tom O'Brien doesn't know that, doesn't understand that. He's been an offensive coach for 30 years. But again, what is the reason then for the change?
You got me.
Second down and 6. Hand off to Andre Brown, not much, maybe 2, tackled by Linval Joseph.
You know, maybe it's the fact that you don't want to put too much pressure on a true freshman quarterback, Russell Wilson. But, you know, give him some easy plays. Run the football like they did in the first drive. Give him some easy throws out, you know, out in the flat, a hitch route, a slant route, something that can get his feet under him early in this football game. But to keep snatching him back and forth, especially as a true freshman, man, that is tough.
Wilson, a redshirt freshman, but he's staying in the game here on third down. They're not going to bring Beck in, so they're going to let Wilson throw, but he takes off again and going to be close. He stretched out. Jay Ross tripped him up. He's going to be a yard shy. It'll bring up 4th down. Is he leaving the pocket too soon?
I don't think so. You know, he's an athletic guy that can make plays, and you look downfield. He's not comfortable enough to go from one receiver to the next to the third guy in his progression. He's one guy, and if it's not there, he's pulling it down. That is something that over time he will get better at. He'll get comfortable with the offensive line, knowing that they're going to do their job. But in high school, hey, you know, you read it one time, and if it's not there, you pull it down and make a play if you're a guy that's mobile.
Third punt already by Pearson. It's a good one. It'll bounce to the 2, though, and go into the end zone. East Carolina with a big play on defense. Can NC State do anything on offense? Russell Wilson struggling so far.
ESPN's College Football is presented by Cars.com, where confidence comes standard. And in part by EAS, don't waste your workout. And ESPN Game Plan. Today, catch Miami, Texas A&M, and Alabama, Arkansas.
You're looking at Free Expression Tunnel on campus here at North Carolina State. I'm sure there have been some unflattering things written over the years about East Carolina. This is really an underrated rivalry between these two schools. And East Carolina is the one right now leading on a defensive touchdown. Eskridge with a pick 6. Patrick Pinckney now fires to the flat for Dwayne Harris, and he might have gotten back to the original line of scrimmage before Keith Willis Jr. made the stop.
Well, that's a play East Carolina loves to use to get Dwayne Harris the football out in space, because he's such a dynamic runner when he's got the football in his hands. But Patrick Pinckney, they feel like, you know, Mike Archer, that he doesn't like the pressure. Right there, bringing Nate Irving up inside. They'll bring him from a lot of different angles throughout this ball game.
2 straight winning seasons for East Carolina. Trying to make it 3 in a row and trying to get to 4-0 on the season. A little pitch to Harris coming on the end around, and he takes it out to the 26. Tonight on ABC, no Sean Moreno, and the Georgia Bulldogs travel to Tempe, Sun Devil Stadium, to face Arizona State. Saturday Night Football presented by Southwest Airlines on ABC Saturday at 8 Eastern. A lot of people picking Arizona State, but last week the Pac-10 was 0-4 against the Mountain West. How are they going to beat an SEC team?
They're still sleepwalking if they think they're going to beat Georgia. I don't care if it's at home or not, but losing to UNLV does not do anything for my confidence in Arizona State.
Got to let Rudy Carpenter throw the ball. Big hit by Nate Irving, and then he flips over Dwayne Harris back at the 15-yard line.
That's the kind of plays that you get in a rivalry game right there. Nate Irving putting a stamp on this tackle right here. He sees it, reads it, and then now right here, the exclamation point. Not in my house.
Apparently the whistle didn't blow. Otherwise, there would have been a penalty flag, but
not on my watch.
We're going to set the record for punts here. Dodge off the side of his foot. I don't think that was deflected, but it goes out of bounds. And NC State will have by far its best starting field position on East Carolina's side of the field. Well, Nate Irving is a difference maker. He's the type of player that NC State needs if it's going to win this game, to come up with big plays like that on Dwayne Harris. Offensive coordinator Dana Bible yesterday, he chose his words carefully in describing his offense because of the youth and inexperience. They have really struggled 217 consecutive plays now against FBS opponents, that's formerly Division 1A, without an offensive touchdown. You got a pretty good chance here to get one, though.
There's been a lot of plays since they've been able to get in the end zone. They've got some excellent field position here. See if they can take advantage.
Wilson with the time to throw, and he finds T.J. Graham, who hangs onto the ball. First down catch at the 27-yard line.
Boy, what a well-timed throw on the part of the youngster Russell Wilson, finding true freshman T.J. Graham, a guy that can run 10-2 in the 100. You decide to go too deep coverage. You've got to have the ball out of your hands as he's clearing the linebackers, and that one looked like, that looked like a Sunday throw right there.
Yeah, 19-yard pickup. Good protection so far by a makeshift offensive line with two former defensive linemen starting. Here's Jamel Eugene out of the backfield. First time playing this year. An ankle injury for the team MVP from a year ago. Gets about 6 or 7.
Well, you mentioned Russell Wilson. The future may be right there. And a guy that's redshirting this year, Mike Glennon, who his brother plays right up the road at Virginia Tech. Sean Glennon. This kid, I watched him in warm-up. He has gotten on.
Virginia Tech and North Carolina on ABC at 3:30 Eastern today. Here's Eugene to the outside. And he gets a first down to the 13-yard line. Dakota Marshall pushed him out. But Mike Glennon, a kid that the coaches feel like is a Matt Ryan type. Tom O'Brien obviously recruited Ryan to Boston College, and they think he can be the type of kid to lead NC State to an ACC title.
I'll tell you how highly recruited he was. Terrell Pryor, #1 recruit in the country in terms of quarterbacks. That kid, Mike Glennon, #3. Yep. So pretty good quarterback there.
Here's Eugene out of the backfield on first down, gets to the 11. Wilson looks pretty comfortable back there throwing the ball, and it certainly helps when you have offensive linemen blocking for you. And again, going back to Tom O'Brien at Boston College, he always had very good offensive linemen. They coach him very well, and they said this week of practice they finally started to see that wall of protection that they're used to seeing at BC.
Well, they've changed speeds as well. Russell Wilson, they're really getting to the line of scrimmage, just calling plays, not allowing him to think much.
Wilson's pass nearly intercepted by Pierre Bell. It was intended for Owen Spencer, and it's third down.
This is kind of a big deal here for East Carolina. They've gone 3 consecutive weeks and have not allowed points in the first quarter. So you're looking at least a field goal attempt here for North Carolina State. But they're looking for bigger points, which is what Dana Bible told us, or Coach O'Brien, that we have to move the football and get into the end zone as opposed to just kicking field goals.
They can still get a first down and get a fresh set of downs before hitting the end zone here. Wilson on third down, gets rid of it. It's complete, but short of the first down marker. George Bryan, the tight end, caught it.
Going to be about 2 yards short, and I think you take the points right here. But it looks like Coach O'Brien, he's going to go for it. Well, when you're 1-2 and struggling a little bit on offense, you take gambles like this. It's early in the ball game. I can see exactly why he's doing it, trying to light a fire under this young football team and, show some confidence in this offensive line.
Plus, they want to get in the end zone. They want a touchdown badly, and who knows, this might end up being their best chance all game. 4th down and 2. Wilson going to run to the 1-yard line. He got the first down. It'll be 1st and goal to go from the 1.
Well, that's what an athletic quarterback can do for you. Yeah, right here, he's just waiting for a hole to develop. Really, he's not even intending on passing the football. Nice little quarterback draw, and he waits on something in front of him, just a crease of green grass to show itself. Nice run by the freshman.
They fumble Tigers on it back at the 10. Wilson and Brown on the exchange, quarterback to running back, cough it up.
Well, that's what Coach Dana Bible talked to us about. He says, you know, just when you think a young player has got it and you see it on film, then you have a play like that just took place. It's such an elementary play that, yeah, Coach O'Brien can't stand it right there. You know, you just take it for granted, that quarterback center exchange, especially when you're moving a center like Ted Larson, a guy that is reaching to get to a tackle. You've got to ride with him as a quarterback to make sure you get the snap.
Wilson running inside the 5 and back to about the 4. Jeremy Chambliss on the stop. And it'll bring up 3rd down and goal. A quick first quarter here in Raleigh. The only score on defense by East Carolina. Van Eskridge with an interception return for a touchdown. But the Wolfpack on the doorstep trying to tie the game as they look to upset one of their rivals in North Carolina, the 15th ranked Pirates. Today's game being broadcast in high definition on ESPN HD. North Carolina State with a 3rd down and goal at the East Carolina 4. Pirates go another quarter. First quarter without allowing a point. NC State, you got to go back to November of last year. Last time it had a touchdown against an FBS school. And coming up later, Andre will wear it out on how to be like Boise State in Hawaii and bust the BCS. Meanwhile, 10th play coming of this drive for NC State. Already picked up a 4th down on this drive. Wilson in trouble. Gets away from a defender and then throws end zone, touchdown. What a play by the freshman quarterback to Andre Brown. .227 plays before they get a touchdown against an FBS school.
We could have ourselves a pretty good ball game today, and all of East Carolina's victories this season, their 3 wins, had not allowed a touchdown or a score in the first quarter. NC State comes up with the big points.
Right on the first play of the second quarter as Tchaikovsky bangs it through to tie the game at 7. Andre Brown hails from Greenville, North Carolina. That's where East Carolina is located. He said 16 members of his friends and family have come to watch him score a touchdown.
Well, a nice job of Russell Wilson knowing where his outlet is. He pulls the football down, and usually as a young quarterback, you pull it down, you run for the end zone, but he keeps his eyes down the field and locates Andre Brown. Boy, they are celebrating the getting into the end zone. It's been a long time.
And notice too, Andre, that since that interception by Harrison Beck, he has not come back in the game. They brought him in on the first 2 series to replace Wilson to throw the ball on 3rd down. But look at Wilson's numbers throwing the football. Only 1 incompletion so far in this game.
Kind of stamps my point. Leave a guy in, let him get a hot hand, and you can do some magical things offensively. And, you know, we talked to Jeremy Gray yesterday, one of their senior captains, the cornerback on this team, and he said they wanted to create a short field for their offense in order to help them score, make scoring a little bit easier. I think they executed the plan to perfection that drive.
Jonathan Williams will grab this one at the 10. Good job by NC State's coverage team as Wilson is knocked out of bounds at the 25 as we go to Reese Davis in the studio.
All right, Dave, Georgia Tech and Mississippi State, Yellow Jackets at home. Josh Nesbitt injured a hamstring, so Jabo Shaw almost gets cut in half, but Demarius Thomas makes the great grab. Tech up 14-0, though Mississippi State is now inside the Yellow Jackets 10 in the first quarter.
Well, maybe Mississippi State will get a field goal, which would be more points than it scored all of last week, and it's lost to Auburn.
Paul Johnson, you give him toys, and he can play.
Well, he lost to Virginia Tech last week. Georgia Tech we're talking about. East Carolina with a first down from its 25-yard line. A running play As Norman Whitley gets only about 3, tackled by Leroy Burgess.
Well, let's go back to the touchdown. Andre Brown, a little celebration in the end zone, and you don't want to draw the flag, so in a hurry you turn around, give it to the official. You know, hey, I've taken care of business a little bit. Now let's flip it to the official and act like we've been here before. But I'll tell you what, they needed to celebrate after being out of the end zone 220 plus plays. That's a long time, Dave.
And it's a little different than what Jake Locker did for Washington, throwing it up in the air and getting penalized. I guarantee every coach in America has reminded his players about what to do after you score. Remember, NC State did have a couple touchdowns against William and Mary a couple weeks ago, although that was an FCS school. Play clock at 1. Pinckney gets it away. Here's Whitley looking for a cutback lane. Not there. Stacked up by Antonio Holmes.
Well, you see the emotions of a rivalry game like this. Jeremy Gray, the captain, was voted captain by his teammates. Anthony Hill, the other offensive captain, out of this ball game with a strained pectoral muscle. And he was actually a guy that was voted first team all ACC at tight end. He just had to fight some injuries throughout his career.
NC State coming with a blitz off the edge. It's picked up and nearly picked off by Nate Irving, the playmaker on defense for the Wolfpack. East Carolina's run only 14 plays now. Another punt coming.
Well, the perfect scenario is to have a playmaker on each level of the defense. The defensive line, linebackers, and the secondary. And I'll tell you what, Coach O'Brien, he's got a good young one on the second level with Nate Irving, a redshirt sophomore linebacker that just knows how to be around the football and make plays.
Dodge's last punt went 20 yards. This one a little bit better. But a running lane for T.J. Graham to the 40. And tackled at the 42 by Emmanuel Davis. Well, it's chippy here in Raleigh, as you would expect. In this rivalry between East Carolina and NC State. We're tied at 7. College football, these two schools don't like each other. They haven't played that often since 1987. This is only the 8th meeting in the last 16 years. NC State leads this series 15-10, including a win in Greenville last year when they were 1-5. Russell Wilson going downtown for Spencer, who had his man beat. Unable to come up with it. Dakota Marshall on the coverage downfield.
Boy, what a nice call, though, by offensive coordinator Dana Bible. A little short roll and then bringing Spencer all the way back across the field. Caught him in man coverage, which that is a tough assignment for any defensive back, to cover a guy when he's crossing from one side of the field all the way across. You throw him a catchable ball. That's a nice big play for NC State.
We're here at Carter-Finley Stadium. This is the site before this year of East Carolina's greatest victory in its program's history. Hurricane Floyd forced the Pirates to play here against number 9 Miami back in 1999, and East Carolina won that game. Wilson going deep again, and he had T.J. Graham. That pass overthrown, and we go to Reese Davis now in the studio.
All right, guys, Penn State has been impressive in the early going. The competition hasn't been great. Taking on Temple, Darrell Clark, Brett Brackett. Clark's 6th touchdown pass of the year. And the Nittany Lions are up 7-0 against a much improved in game and scrappy Temple squad. Ohio State, a little bit of a sleepwalk right now. Pryor's playing most of the time at quarterback, and Dan Lefevre having a solid day. Central Michigan on top of the Boilers.
And boy, Andre, after Ohio State got shellacked against USC last week, a lot of people think Penn State now is the team to beat in the Big Ten.
I would agree with you in that sense. They were looking for a quarterback. They've got one consistent play and a lot of good football players around them.
Wilson's pass underneath is dropped, intended for Darrell Davis. So 3 and out.
Well, I'll tell you what, Dave, what you have to do if you're East Carolina and Patrick Pinckney, you've got to move the football, because one mistake you make as a good football team, a good offensive football team, is to not move the football early. 2 things happen. You give confidence to North Carolina State, and you keep your defense on the field for a lot of plays. Both those 2 things have happened early in this ball game.
Another punt for Bradley Pearson. And it's fair caught by Freeney. A diving fair catch at the 23-yard line. East Carolina struggled offensively so far in this game, but as we do our EA Sports breakdown, this is where the Pirates have been successful offensively.
Yeah, Patrick Pinckney is a guy, he's very accurate. You mentioned it early, 76%, a guy that can make plays with his legs. We haven't seen this from him yet, but he is a guy that can move around, a very accurate passer. And they need him to really step up and start to make plays like this if they're going to get themselves ahead and comfortable in this football game. I think right now East Carolina is the more uncomfortable football team of the two.
Pinckney rolling out, throws low, but Jamar Bryant makes the catch, and he stepped out at the 32. Ray Michelle made the stop.
We mentioned the fact that Mike Archer wanted to bring pressure against Patrick Pinckney. That's a way to avoid it right there. Nice little short roll, rolling away from where the pressure's coming from, and then a nice delivery on the outside to Jamar Bryant, one of his playmakers and a guy who really needs to get the football in his hands along with Dwayne Harris.
Well, the NC State coaches commented that Pinckney looks like a different quarterback than he did last year when they played him, and a lot of that is confidence and maturity as Dwayne Harris picks up the first down to the 43. Remember a couple years ago, people were talking very highly about Pinckney in East Carolina, but Skip Holtz said, you know, Pinckney didn't really handle that very well, but he did handle the success well this year, coming up big in the fourth quarter against Tulane last week.
Well, he just wanted to be a complete quarterback. He worked on that in the offseason, a lot of film study, a lot of footwork drills. You watch him in warm-ups throwing the football. Never see him throw a pass without his feet being under him. He's excellent fundamentally.
Pinckney throwing on the run, hits Alex Taylor, and 3 successful pass plays for the Pirates. That one picked up 7. J.C. Neal is there for the Wolfpack. Tonight, 2 of the top teams in the SEC go head-to-head, LSU and Auburn. College football primetime on ESPN, presented by Hampton Hotels at 7:45 Eastern Time. 5 teams in the top 10 from the SEC. First time ever that one conference has 5 schools in the top 10.
Yeah, a lot of people think the defense is going to be the story in that game. I think it's special teams. The defenses will take care of one another. Whoever wins the special teams battle will win that ball game tonight.
Last year, offense was a big story. 54 points scored in that game, including LSU with that gamble on the final play, getting a touchdown as Whitley gets maybe a yard. McKean made the stop. It'll bring up 3rd down. Who's the better team right now, LSU or Auburn?
Good question. I mean, you know, you talk about it. They're similar offensively, both playing with quarterbacks that hadn't played a lot of football. And defensively, 2 really stout defensive football teams. So it's one of those two trains crashing in the night, so to speak. Who's going to flinch first? Nice drive being put together here by Patrick Pinckney, the senior quarterback from East Carolina.
But 3rd down and 1. Whitley darts through the middle of the NC State defense for the first down to the 44, and here's Reese Davis.
Dave, it's a huge day for the SEC, not just LSU and Auburn. Alabama on the road at Arkansas. Tide helped by running into the kicker penalty. John Parker Wilson to Earl Alexander. That set up a touchdown run by the freshman Mark Ingram. 7-0 Alabama in the first.
Of course, Florida and Tennessee will square off today as well. Some great games in the SEC. So first down for East Carolina. First time they've been in North Carolina State territory. Pinckney's pass incomplete, intended for Alex Taylor. Got hit in the back by Jeremy Gray as the ball arrived.
When Nate Irving, their playmaker defensively, came off the field limping a little bit. They're trying to take care of him from the previous play. This is the play right here, and he kind of gets caught in one of his own defensive linemen. Leg gets caught under Shea McKean, the defensive end, tries to stay in and suck it up, but initially had to come off for a play or two. Hopefully we'll get him back in the game.
Irving, a sophomore, only started 4 games prior to this season. Pinckney going to take off on 2nd down and gets out of bounds at the 39-yard line. Picked up 5. Jamar Bryant blocking as they continue to work on Irving, their leading tackler.
And not only their leading tackler as a linebacker, but also leads them in interceptions with 3. Picked off a pass. We mentioned that the very first play of the game against Clemson and returned it for a touchdown. Has had an interception in each of the first 3 games for NC State, a big-time playmaker defensively.
Tell you what, NC State defensively has looked better against East Carolina than Virginia Tech and West Virginia. The only touchdown for East Carolina is on defense.
Yeah, offensively they're struggling a little bit.
3rd down and 5. Pinckney hits Devon Drew for the first down and more. Inside the 10. Drew, touchdown, East Carolina. Now, just as we say that NC State was doing a good job defensively against East Carolina, they give up a big play for a touchdown, 39 yards. They beat the blitz that time. J.C. Neal was coming, and Pinckney found Drew, who took it home. Fifth touchdown pass for Pinckney. Now Ben Hartman on for the point after. 14-7 East Carolina.
We'll watch this play in the anticipation of Patrick Pinckney. Right here, you're going to see his tight end just kind of clear the linebackers, and with his eyes in zone coverage, you move the secondary right there. Nice anticipation by Devon Drew, the tight end. And then watch the determination after to get himself into the end zone. People talk about, you know, you catch the football and go down. No, you catch it and try to get additional yards. That is determination right there, and a much-needed shot in the arm for East Carolina offensively.
Now they beat the blitz there, but also some bad angles and bad tackling in the secondary by NC State. 5 missed tackles on that play. We talked about the beating of the blitz, and then you're going to see the bad angle on the first missed tackle there, right there. There's 2, 3. Gray gets another chance. Actually, maybe 6 missed tackles. Gray had 2 opportunities to bring him down.
The former quarterback, Devon Drew, you know, those quarterbacks, they're athletes, you know. Former quarterbacks, athletic guys.
Certainly, if Nate Irving were on the field, that might better NC State's
That went right
chances.
over your head, didn't it?
I was listening to direction on Nate Irving. T.J. Graham on the kick return. And he gets brought down to the 24-yard line. Fred Hicks, a center, playing special teams, making the tackle.
Yeah, they can't afford to have Nate Irving, their best player defensively, out of this ballgame. They have just been beaten up with injuries. Here you see their report card in terms of injuries. Anthony Hill was a preseason all-ACC tight end. Tony Baker was a guy that's gone over 1,000 yards in his career.
He's done for the year.
I mean, he's done for the year. There's a couple of guys there. I mean, you just up and down the injury chart for NC State. Just a nightmare to start the season for Tom O'Brien.
They can't afford to lose Irving. You mentioned Alan Michael Cash, their best defensive lineman, hurt his knee against Clemson last week. They do get Jamal Eugene back. He's playing in this game, but not right now. Andre Brown carrying the ball and doing well, picking up 12. Jeremy Chambliss made the tackle, but after a first down.
When you talk about 2 new offensive starters, of guys that were on defense, Ted Larson and John Beddix, you know, you just want them to fire off. Allow them to play football right now. Get them settled down and start to move the football again. And that's where you could utilize 2 guys like that with not a lot of experience. Let them fire off the football and create some holes for Andre Brown.
Line doing a pretty good job so far, protecting Wilson as well. Here's Brown, another big hole up the middle. Brown gets to the 43, brought down by Josh Smith. Well, he mentioned that this is a rivalry that not many people talk about. Check this out here. You got one side to your left there, the NC State fans all upset after that touchdown. And check out the ECU side of the stands. When the Pirates beat Miami in this stadium back in 1999, they ripped down the goalposts. They tore up the field, and that got all the NC State fans upset. And that really added something to this rivalry.
That's nothing like playing in a rivalry game. Guys that you played against in high school, in high school, and on some occasion.
Well, a lot of these East Carolina players were not recruited by NC State. Yeah. Andre Brown appears to have the first down, brought down by Van Eskridge. We're being told that Nate Irving, the outstanding linebacker for NC State, has a lower leg injury and is questionable to return.
Lower leg injury. Might that be high ankle sprain? You know, that's the old dreaded high ankle sprain. It's floating around all the time.
And boy, those are the kind of things that can linger for a long time.
They linger for a little bit. I'll tell you what, right now they're giving a nice look offensively. NC State moving the football behind their young quarterback, Russell Wilson.
They got an ex-walk-on at right guard and 2 defensive linemen at center and left guard, and they're out there trying to block for Brown in the screen. Got only a couple brought down by Chambliss. Let's go back to Reese Davis.
All right, guys, coming into the day, Iowa had not allowed a touchdown. Now they've given up 2 to the mighty Pittsburgh Panther offense. Bill Stull, the quarterback, going in for the second touchdown of the day. 14-3. It's on ESPN2. Could be a tough afternoon for the Big Ten.
Well, if Stull is throwing it well, and you got LaShawn McCoy running like he can, Pitt's a dangerous team.
Yep, they are, and it's surprised they lost a few weeks ago or so, but a lot of people like Pitt this year in the Big East.
Now they lost to Bowling Green. That pass pulled in by Stephen Howard for about 4 yards. So it's 14-7. East Carolina leading NC State. What surprised you so far about this game?
Well, I'll tell you what, the surprise has been in a good way for NC State, the way they have played defensively in this game until the last pass to Devon Drew. But they have really stepped up, met the challenge. Their playmaker, though, Nate Irving, on the sideline, they've got to find a way to rally themselves to kind of make up for his loss.
When talking with the NC State coaches about it yesterday, they just said, we just got to move on. There's nothing we can do about it. Playing walk-ons and ex-walk-ons and defensive guys that are playing offense and offensive guys that have been moved to defense. Here's Wilson on 3rd down. What a hit as that pass is caught by Eugene right at the 1st down marker.
I think they blew the whistle right at the 1st down marker, and the spot looks as though it may be a 1st down here for East Carolina, and it indeed is.
Well, Eugene stretched across, but the whistle had blown there. What a hit there.
Big time hit, but watch the second effort. He's not down yet, and he gets up and continues. I think the officials may have missed one here. Watch right in the middle of the contact. He's not down. He's on top of another defender.
You're right. The whistle did not blow.
And very heads-up play by Jamil Eugene.
Now they could have, the officials sometimes will make a mistake there and blow the whistle, which would have meant the play was dead, but the whistle did not blow. And you're right, he's still alive because he landed on a defender.
Well, they ruled it where they did indeed blow the whistle, but I think okay, here we go. They're just kind of resetting the clock here. It was enough for the 1st down when they blew the whistle.
Well, I'm saying though is when he landed on the player, they didn't blow the whistle. Sometimes they will make a mistake. They're thinking the player is down and blow the whistle, even though they shouldn't. And good job there by the Conference USA officiating crew not to blow it dead because the runner was still alive. And now Eugene gets to the 39. It'll bring up 2nd and 7.
Well, Eugene is kind of giving him a shot in the arm as well. He and spelling Andre Brown at times. You know, now you got a 1-2 punch. You got a fresh back all the time as opposed to one guy having to carry the load offensively like Andre Brown has. And he's done a tremendous job averaging 4 yards a carry, but sometimes you just need a break, and Jamil Eugene shows up just in time.
Eugene started 6 games last year at 3 100-yard rushing games as Wilson throws it away, being chased by C.J. Wilson. 14-7. East Carolina leads. The difference is a defensive touchdown. Skip Holtz trying to go to 6-3 against the Atlantic Coast Conference. Andre will wear it out and how to bust the BCS if you're Skip Holtz. That's ahead. And later, can East Carolina go to 4-0? The only other non-conference test is against Virginia for East Carolina. Of course, they've got to win the Conference USA, and they do not play Tulsa in the regular season. And Tulsa considered one of the better teams in that league. Here's Russell Wilson on 3rd down and 7 with time to throw. That pass in the dirt. Incomplete. Intended for Smith. It'll bring up 4th down.
Well, Russell Wilson there just kind of skips that one in, but I'll tell you what, I've been impressed with him in this 1st half. A throwaway on 2nd down, at least, you know, not lose yardage or create a worse situation for yourself. And, he's growing as a quarterback. I think he's getting it, and you can see the growth right before your eyes.
He's a terrific athlete. You mentioned the fact that he's a 2-sport star. A lot of people think he'll be a professional baseball player. second baseman on the NC State baseball team. Greeny, fair catch at the 10 with under 4 minutes to play. East Carolina 14, NC State 7. Back to Raleigh in a moment.
ESPN's college football, brought to you by the Phenomenal 4 from Mitsubishi. 4 cars, 4 cylinders, 0 compromises. And Enterprise Rent-A-Car. We'll pick you up.
Chuck Amato helped build these facilities at NC State, including a racquetball court, which rarely gets used now with Tom O'Brien and his staff. A lot of differences between those two coaches, which we'll document a little bit later on in the program. East Carolina trying to run the ball, and that's really been a problem all year. Chris Johnson, a first-round draft pick of the Tennessee Titans, and Brandon Simmons only getting a yard and just over 20 rushing yards for ECU in this game.
Well, that was the plan. To stop the run on first down, first and second down for Mike Archer, the defensive coordinator, and force them into those long yardage situations, maybe create a short field for this offense, and they've been able to do that early in this ball game, David. East Carolina struggling to run the football right now.
Short passing game has been successful. Turned into a big play on that touchdown to Drew, 39 yards. Pinckney with a pump fake and then tried to dump it off to J.R. Kramer. It'll bring up third down and long. Here's Reese Davis first in the studio.
Dave, Terrell Pryor's carried it 6 times for 37 yards for Ohio State against Troy, and he's hit 4 of his 6 passes. 2 of the 4 have been for touchdowns. The freshman to a wide-open Brian Hartline, and the Buckeyes before the half on top of Troy. This Troy they're handling a little better than the other one, 14-3.
Yeah, you think? And certainly, Reese, this will help Pryor's confidence going into the Big Ten.
We were talking about this last night. He has matured physically so much in a very short period of time. Very impressed with how he looked against USC the other night. Now he's just, seemed to have taken off today.
Here's Pinckney going to run on third down and 9. And Pinckney is very close to the first down. Remember, no Nate Irving for NC State. He got hurt, and he's not been back in the game, a lower leg injury. Well, you're talking about Terrell Pryor, and you're right. You look at him physically. I mean, he actually looks better in a uniform than some guys in the NFL that play quarterback do.
You're absolutely right. And, that early entry into college allows you to both mature mentally, you get adjusted to the surroundings, and then as well physically in the weight room with the coaches. You go through the entire offseason and in the weight program, spring practice, all that good stuff. Hey, you can't help but become a good player if you're a guy like Terrell Pryor.
Pinckney going downfield, and it's going to be picked off. Intercepted by Byers, and he got a block. Tackled at the 38-yard line. They say that he's down. Ball came out, and they're going to say that it's recovered now by East Carolina. One official said he was down. Another official says no, the ball came out first.
Well, I think it was Dwayne Harris who actually came up with the football for East Carolina. But if it's third down and a quarterback throws an interception like this, you don't really mind because it's like a punt. But then when it's on first down, it's a momentum changer, but you have to keep the football. And I think they may take a look at this one. I think that's why East Carolina trying to a smart play and a smart timeout.
We have an official review of the play.
A smart play by the officials as well here, because I think he's going to be ruled down. Is it Justin Byers, I want to say, that came up with the interception?
Hard to tell, though, from that angle, Andre. I'd like to see another angle, because from that angle, you can't tell whether it came out first. Byers on the return, and this, you're not used to this as a defensive player, having a guy come rip it from your arms from behind.
Yeah, it looked like it was loose already, and this one may stand. You see it kind of carrying it out there, which allows Dwayne Harris to come from behind and make a play.
Yeah,
I'm not sure there's enough video evidence to overturn the call, and I just flat out think that it's a fumble to begin with.
I think you're right. Ball looked like it was coming out.
Yeah.
2 turnovers on one play. How often does that happen?
Guys not used to carrying the football. Those defensive backs and linebackers got us swinging around out there like a loaf of bread, and the guys come from behind like Dwayne Brown. A heads-up play by a young player, just a sophomore. Right there, comes up with the football and kind of saving Patrick Pinckney, so to speak. But I was mentioning the fact, if that happens on 3rd down, there's really no harm done because it's like a punt. But when it happens on 1st down, it's a momentum changer, and you give all that momentum to the other side of the field. But right here,
yeah, that's a fumble.
Well, it's a fumble. It doesn't take that long.
But Justin Byers, a freshman,
back, let's
too.
Play football.
Byers, a freshman, with that interception. And, NC State's got a lot of young players, and in high school, Byers, nobody's coming flying from behind and ripping that out in high school, probably.
No doubt about it. True freshman playing back there, and guys are bigger, they're faster, they're stronger, a little bit know how to play the game between the ears as well, and that was a smart play on the part of Dwayne Harris.
One of the strangest 42-yard gains you'll see in college football. They're taking a long time to look at this, though, but it did appear to be clearly a fumble.
Just take a look at how he's carrying the football out away from his body, swinging it around, and right there, the big paw comes in, takes it away, really not even swatting it to the ground. It's so loose that he's able to just take it right out of his hand as he's trying to knock it down. And I think this one's going to be East Carolina football, set up at about the 38-yard line of North Carolina State. But we've been surprised before.
You're not kidding. East Carolina's ball right now. We'll tell you whether they'll keep it when we come back to Raleigh.
After review, the NC State player was down before the ball was stolen.
What they must have thought, Andre, is that he never lost possession when he went down, that he still had partial possession, and in that situation you keep the football.
And his knee was on the ground,
yeah.
and then Dwayne Harris came away with the football. I actually thought that it was a fumble. There's no doubt in my mind, even after looking at the replay, I thought it was a fumble.
Harrison back in the game at quarterback for North Carolina State. Incompletion, trying to hit George Bryan at the 47-yard line.
Let's take one more look at it. I mean, the ball is clearly loose, and he does not have possession of it before he goes to the ground. Now, the ruling on the field was that it was a fumble. I'm thinking worst case, there's not enough video evidence to overturn the call on the field. I don't know what they're seeing. I really don't.
Meanwhile, 2nd down and 10. And a penalty flag. First one today.
False start. Number 50 on the offense. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
Tom O'Brien can't believe it. Brees Davis, your turn.
All right, Dave, Andre, coming up at halftime. Look at how I take care of Lou and Mark. They're just kicked back. I've been feverishly putting together highlights for you at halftime. We'll also talk about the LSU-Auburn game tonight, look at some of the games that are underway early, and I'm efforting to try to show you the worst shotgun snap in the history of college football. You don't want to miss that at halftime. We'll see you in just a little bit.
Our coach and Mark look a little comfortable, don't they?
I'm wondering who Lou's rooting for. He coached at NC State back in the early 70s, and that got him to the NFL. He left here to coach the New York Jets, and of course his son Skip, the head coach for East Carolina. Pirates right now with a 7-point lead. Another great start to what should be a fun-filled Saturday of college football. East Carolina by 7. NC State ball. Beck airing it out. T.J. Graham with the catch. Wrestled down in East Carolina territory at the 38-yard line.
Boy, Harrison Beck waits this play out. It's a nice deep end by T.J. Graham, and he keeps it nice and flat. Watch him right here. Great protection from the offensive line, and he's using his eyes to go left. His receiver crossing back to the right side, T.J. Graham, and waits it out in that second window I tell you what, Harrison Beck, he is a guy that is plays very well off the bench. Not a good starting quarterback, but a guy that can come in and play well for you off the bench.
He's a transfer from Nebraska. He might have had a touchdown there. He tried to hit Stephen Howard over the middle, but he led him too much. Incomplete. D is for Dover. Drivers will dig deep to leave everyone in their concrete dust. This week, Cal Busch looks to return to his winning ways and chip away at Carl Edwards' point lead. It's the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series at Dover, presented by Principal Financial Group on ABC Sunday at 1 Eastern Time.
Well, D is for defense. East Carolina better get going defensively. They don't want to find themselves tied up here going into the half.
NC State with 2 timeouts remaining. Beck throws underneath to Eugene. And he plows forward, splatters the pile to the 29-yard line. Pierre Bell in on the stop, going to be short of the first down.
You know, just in case you're wondering, if nothing's wrong with Russell Wilson, they just chosen to go with 2 quarterbacks today. Russell Wilson 8 of 13, 95 yards and a touchdown. Pretty good first half for the young redshirt freshman of North Carolina State. But Harrison Beck has come in and provided a little spark in the passing game as well for NC State. So I guess that was the plan going in, was to play both these guys. We thought that Russell Wilson would go, and unless something bad happened, we would see Harrison Beck.
Well, after watching BYU trounce UCLA last week, they leapfrog East Carolina, move into 14th in the polls. East Carolina drops a spot to 15 after escaping New Orleans with a victory over Tulane. And a lot of people starting to think, you know, both these teams go undefeated all the way, that, you know, BYU is going to be the team, not East Carolina, that gets into the BCS.
Well, right now, if both go undefeated, BYU already ahead of ECU in the rankings. So I agree with you totally in that sense. But they can make some noise and make a case for themselves.
Eugene on 3rd down picks up the first down. Again, we are totally living in the speculative here because we have a whole season to play.
A lot of football to
play. But let's say there are 2 non-BCS schools that go undefeated. Do both get in, or do you think we're not going to see it because of the SEC and Big 12?
I don't think we see it. And I think, you know, the argument's going to be made that those teams are better from the SEC. A 1 or 2 loss team from the SEC better than a second undefeated team or an at-large berth that's out there. So I really don't think we're going to see that anytime soon.
2 teams from a major conference get into the BCS as that pass is incomplete, intended for Williams. So you figure you're going to get 2 from the SEC and 2 from the Big 12. But, you know, are you going to get 2 out of the Pac-10 or out of the Big 10 or out of the ACC?
When you have, aside from the SEC having 5 already in the top 10, you've got the Big 12 with 4 in the top 11. So right now being dominated by the polls, the SEC and the Big 12.
Beck going deep and should have been picked off by Eskridge. He already has one today and returned it for a score. Dangerous throw by Harrison Beck.
Well, he had to actually go high. Receiver was actually behind Van Eskridge, but a good football player and really judged the football very well.
And here you go in terms of the AP Top 25 by conference.
Yep.
Mountain West with 2 teams, Utah and BYU, and they're 5-0 against the Pac-10 this year.
You mentioned the fact that the Big 12, they've got 4 in the top 11, 5 in the top 25. So those 2 conferences right now dominating the top 25 in college football.
And Wisconsin, the lone Big 10 team in the top 10. Great win for the Badgers at Fresno State last week. Don't forget about them in the Big 10. Pass that's caught over the middle on 3rd and 10, but short of the first down. George Bryan, freshman tight end, the lone scholarship tight end on the roster, going to bring up 4th down, and NC State going to go for it. No huddle here on 4th down. They picked up a 4th down earlier. Quarterback sneak back, great second effort, he got it. He fumbled the ball, though, at the 13-yard line. He picked up the first down, and then he lost the ball.
The officials trying to unravel some bodies in there to see who indeed came up with the football. East Carolina saying they have it. Of course they would say that.
Was that the right decision to go for it? It's a turnover.
I think it was a great decision. You just got to hold on to the football. And East Carolina, you know, Harrison Beck, for as well as he's played in that drive, comes in the game. Russell Wilson moving the football team. He's had 2 turnovers that have hurt his football team. You'll see him here, the extra effort right there. The second effort to pick up the first down. Now you got to hold on to it. Guys, they know you have the first down. Their only saving grace is to rip it out of there, and they're able to get the football away from Harrison Beck. As a quarterback, you got to hold on for dear life. And there it is. It comes out. The whistle had not blown. East Carolina's football.
Eskridge stripped it. They're going to review this. Here's the question. Did forward progress stop? If forward progress stopped, then the play's dead. And that's
the only way to know clearly if forward progress stopped is the official's whistle. And I don't know how you can determine that on a replay. But stranger things have happened.
They're going to look at it. Skip Holtz's team, though, very tough going after the football. Saw that. Let's listen to the whistle here. Didn't hear one.
And finally you hear it there at the end, but it wasn't before the fumble.
I don't think the forward progress has stopped. He's still fighting there.
No, that ball came out.
Yeah.
That ball came out.
Again, the decision to take a field goal maybe, but no, they elect to go for it on fourth down.
You know, I'm okay with going for it. You show up, you're telling your kids that you know you've come to win, and here's the official word.
And apparently no. Oh, he did make the announcement. Okay, so East Carolina maintains possession. Out on the flat to Dwayne Harris, and spins out of a tackle. Got to get out of bounds. He did at the 33-yard line. Clock would stop anyway to move the chains, but you help yourself more if you get out of play. Tom O'Brien's reaction to the fumble by Harrison Beck.
Well, it's just tough when you come off the bench and throw a couple of passes and then you're asked to run the football. You got to hold on to it if you're Harrison Beck.
Back with the final 23 seconds of the first half. East Carolina by 7. Back in Raleigh, you see the numbers for Harrison Beck with that interception that was returned for a touchdown and then a fumble. Boy, it's surprising that it's only a 7-point game with all the turnovers by NC State as that pass is caught by Bryant, shoved out of play. The clock will stop with 18 seconds left in the half.
Well, NC State here, they've got to find a way to keep ECU from just attempting a field goal. Just 18 seconds left, but you're giving up the sideline and you're giving up big chunks of yards to go with it. So want to get yourself into halftime just down by 14 and no additional points.
You know, Tom O'Brien has been here before. When he took over at Boston College, there was a maturing process for his team and eventually turned them into a terrific program in the Big East and then the ACC. Went to 7 straight bowl games. A lot of players sent to the NFL. Here's Pinckney on second down, and he throws it out of bounds. 12 seconds to go in the half. Antoine Holmes with pressure. But when Tom O'Brien took over for Chuck Amato, he said that their APR in terms of academics went from number 1, which they were at BC, to 11 at NC State. And that was in part because 20 players left the program.
You know, some guys don't feel like this coach fits, their likes, and they move on. Other guys decide that college life doesn't fit for them, and they move on to do other things. So
I think some of it too is the coaches moving on from those players.
But those things count against the APR. Those players leaving, no matter what the circumstances.
Yep. Pinckney gets out of bounds. That was third down. Willie Young pushed him out. Looks like he got the first down. 3 seconds to go in the half.
Yep. Time for one more play, and you'll know that Patrick Pinckney will take a shot towards the end zone on this play. There, Mike Archer, the defensive coordinator, elected to bring some pressure. Ray Michael, the middle linebacker, came, and a couple of other guys. Didn't allow Pinckney to sit back there and survey and allow his receivers to get down the field. So they're going to take a timeout and talk about this final play.
East Carolina, their second timeout.
Now Skip Holtz done a terrific job at East Carolina in his 4th season. Was the head coach at Connecticut when they were 1AA, an assistant in South Carolina and Notre Dame. And A new 6-year deal for Holtz, but you would think even with that contract, there are going to be some BCS schools coming after him after this year.
He will be a well sought after man once this season's over. He has done a tremendous job for East Carolina. Each of their years they've improved in the first 3 years. Go to a bowl game last year, able to pull out a win, and it's he's got it moving in the right direction. That's for sure at East Carolina.
Before he took over at East Carolina under John Thompson, they won 3 games in 2 years. And then Holtz came in and 8 wins last year, back-to-back winning seasons. They're in search of their first conference title since 1973. Jonathan Williams runs, and that's the final play of the first half. The difference in the game, a defensive touchdown by Van Eskridge. East Carolina 14, North Carolina State 7. Inside the NC State locker room, Wolfpack down 7 at halftime as we go to Reese, Mark, and Lou with the ESPN College Football Halftime Report.
In the mix.
Holtz gets a block, and it's picked up by T.J. Lee. Touchdown Pirates. Beamer ball getting a taste of its own medicine.
Pinckney for the end zone. Touchdown. That was a beautiful throw by Pinckney. Arguably the biggest win in history.
Welcome back to ESPN College Football presented by Cars.com. You got a chance for a special season when you're having punt returns for touchdowns and interception returns for touchdowns. But East Carolina's going to win this game. Pirates got to play better. It's only a 7-point game, and NC State was beating them up with its defensive line against ECU's offensive line.
I think defensively they're playing a pretty good football game. 29th ranked defense coming into this game, creating some turnovers and some opportunities. We've seen Patrick Pinckney play better football than he has in the first half. They're going to have to get a better effort out of him as well as the running backs if they're going to pull away in this game.
And that has been a problem for East Carolina, even though they're undefeated, running the football with their tailbacks. Chris Johnson, terrific player, rushed for 1,400 yards last year and was a first-round draft pick of the Tennessee Titans. Patrick Pinckney is a good running quarterback, but Simmons, Williams, and Whitley need to help him out a little bit more. Only 50 rushing yards for East Carolina in the first half. But with that said, they've got a 7-point lead on NC State. Pirates will kick off. Nate Irving, the outstanding linebacker for North Carolina State, may try to give it a go.
Came out with a heavily taped right ankle, and it's tough to keep a guy like that off the field. I got a feeling he's going to sneak his way back into this ball game.
He got hurt in the first quarter, and their defense was not as good when he left. Short kickoff. It's taken at the 30-yard line. And out past the 35-yard line is Curtis Underwood, one of the up men. I mentioned that East Carolina ran for only 50 yards. Total yards pretty even. Only one penalty in the entire first half.
Well, it's a surprise because, you know, right here you mentioned the 50 yards. They came in averaging 119 a game, and that's 89th in the country, which is, you know, a decent rushing total. They'd like to have a little bit more, but when you get held to just 50 in the first half, that makes it tough to execute their offense.
Russell Wilson, when he had time to throw, did a pretty good job passing. Harrison Beck turned it over twice when he was in the game, once throwing and once rushing. NC State runs it on 1st and 10. Andre Brown to the 43-yard line, tripped up by C.J. Wilson.
Well, you know, there's been a quarterback shuffle kind of at NC State since the departure of a guy named Phillip Rivers, who started 51 straight games. Presently 5 different quarterbacks since he vacated campus, and you know, this have started at least 50 games. So they're just a mix and match of trying to find the next guy like Phillip Rivers, and we're still waiting to see it. Those are big shoes to fill, though.
Rivers, a top 5 draft pick, went to a Pro Bowl with the Chargers. Although they're 0-2, they play on Monday night against the Jets on ESPN. Good run by Andre Brown. He pushes the pile, picks up the first down inside East Carolina territory to the 46. Andre Brown, a Greenville, North Carolina native. There's Mike Glennon, Sean's brother, and he probably is that quarterback. At least the coaches feel like he could be that type of guy to win an ACC championship at North Carolina State, but they're expecting to redshirt him.
One thing that kept him off the field this year is they had them in a couple of scrimmages. He got to the third and final scrimmage, and then just some situational stuff that he didn't handle very well, and they elected to go ahead and redshirt him.
Wilson fires to Jarvis Williams, and he gets to the 43. Tackled by Marshall, picked up 3. Sean Glennon, Mike's brother, and the Virginia Tech Hokies take on North Carolina at 3:30 on ABC. And how about the start for the Tar Heels? Could they be the team to beat in the ACC?
They're certainly making an argument for themselves. A decent wins next week. They go down to face the Canes, but they've got two weeks of big business. Virginia Tech this afternoon, and the Hurricanes of Miami next week. Butch Davis returning home, or the school where he once coached.
Usually by this time of year in this state, we're starting to talk basketball. As that pass is pulled in by George Bryant out in the open field, inside the 15-yard line, and dropped at the 12 by Eskridge.
If you're expecting Russell Wilson to grow as a quarterback, you have to leave him in the football game and allow him to make plays like this. Heads up, down the field, leading his tight end, George Bryant. And the kid has had a fantastic football game, in my opinion. He's just got to remain on the field. Right there, you see him standing right in there with a defender bearing down on him, Jeremy Chambliss, right in his face, and he stands right in there to make a nice throw.
30 yards and a first down now at the 13-yard line. Brown, and good job by East Carolina's defense turning him back inside. That was Eskridge who did that. Slate there as well, along with C.J. Wilson.
Well, you can't keep a guy on a yo-yo like Russell Wilson. In one play, out the next. You never get that rhythm. And they talked so much to us yesterday about the growth at that position. In order to have that, you've got to be able to play through the hills and the valleys. Not just when he's out there and he's making plays, you leave him in. He makes a mistake, you snatch him out. He's got to know why he made the mistake, come back and make up for the mistakes that he made. I think he's played a heck of a ball game thus far.
You know, we keep talking about Mike Glennon as being the quarterback of the future.
He's the guy on the field right now.
And he's a freshman. In trouble now, and sacked back at the 20-yard line by C.J. Wilson. Jay Ross also getting a good push from his defensive tackle spot.
Yeah, Glennon's the guy that they want a red shirt. So Russell Wilson, it's basically it's his car to drive for this year. And I got a feeling, you know, when you're on the field and you're playing through those mistakes, do you want to take a step back when Glennon gets on the field? Because game type speed is totally different from practice speed. Russell Wilson's already in the game. He's establishing himself in game speed. Glennon, you know, he's going to make the same mistakes that Russell Wilson's made this year. Russell Wilson will have all that behind him.
3rd and 17. Wilson into the end zone. What a catch! Touchdown, Jarvis Williams! That'll help Russell Wilson's confidence.
Well, one thing yesterday, talking to Andre Brown, who is a senior on this football team that really stood out and really impressed me. He says he's starting to trust his quarterback. And, you know, for a senior to say that about a freshman quarterback, it speaks a lot. It speaks volumes about a guy like Russell Wilson. They've got tremendous confidence in him that he can get the job done. He proved it on that play.
Extra point good, and we're tied at 14. Russell Wilson's second touchdown pass today. Beautiful toss to Jarvis Williams, and the freshman feeling it now for the Wolfpack.
Every week, we honor the AT&T ESPN All-America Player of the Week, and we want you to get involved in the process. All you have to do, text the word VOTE to 51234 on your AT&T wireless phone. You can access the nominees and vote, and enter for a chance to win a trip to the national championship game in South Florida come January. It's the AT&T ESPN All-America Player of the Week.
North Carolina State quarterback Russell Wilson coming alive at the right time against a rival and the 15th ranked team in the country. 2 touchdown passes for the redshirt freshman quarterback. We're tied at 14. Here's Jonathan Williams on the kick return for East Carolina. Through a seam at the 30-yard line. And he stepped out of bounds at the 37. Time now for another edition of Wear It Out. And we're talking today about how to be a BCS buster. How do you do it if you're East Carolina?
A couple of characteristics that a team has to have in order to get themselves into a BCS game. You got to win that first emotional game. They were able to do that in week 1 against against Virginia Tech in the first game. You have to win one at least with a big play, and they did that in the opening game against Virginia Tech. A punt block for a touchdown to seal it. You have to beat a highly ranked team, and West Virginia was that at number 8. We'll get back to the other 2 after this penalty. Defeat a highly ranked team handily. They did that to West Virginia, who was ranked number 8 at that time in the country. So East Carolina well on their way to finding themselves in that conversation, but they've got a nice little test right in front of them right now with North Carolina State.
On 1st and 15, Pinckney finds Dwayne Harris, and great defense that time by Jeremy Gray. Minimal gain on 1st down.
You know, as well, there are a couple of other things. You have to handle adversity on the road. They were able to survive last week a 4-turnover game against Tulane, and you need strong senior leadership. They've got that on both sides of the ball with Patrick Pinckney under the center, Pierre Bell in the middle of that defense. So you know, and you look at it today, they've got to take care of business right now against the Wolfpack, because they're in another one of those tight-knit ball games.
And all the momentum favoring NC State, and they get Nate Irving back on defense. That'll fire up the rest of the Wolfpack. But how about this? Pinckney finding Jamar Bryant, who takes it into North Carolina State territory all the way to the 44-yard line. And Irving hobbling after that play.
Yep, they're in that big-time rivalry game that it takes as well to get yourself into the BCS conversation. You're the hunted as opposed to being the hunter. NC State certainly showing that in this ball game, and you can't start to believe your own press clippings as well. And you get a little bit of that going on at East Carolina.
Pinckney's pass is caught by Bryant. You know, we asked Skip Holtz about that when we talked to him this week in regards to their game against Tulane last week, where they had to come from behind in the last 2 minutes to win. And Holtz said no. You know, a couple years ago we had a loss to Rice, a game we should have won. Last year it was a loss to Marshall, another game we should have won. But he said we were prepared last week. The guys were calm, and that's what you have with a lot of seniors. And he did not feel that they would overlook NC State today. Maybe they have, though.
Yep, you got a lot of senior leadership, a lot of coaching going on the field with just the players, and the coaches not having to make those type of statements.
Whitley loose in the secondary. Inside the 10. Whitley to the goal line. Touchdown, East Carolina. I would say they faced adversity pretty well.
You know, they always seem to have an answer. Whenever North Carolina State scores, East Carolina, that senior leadership, the guy under the center, Patrick Pinckney, he controls it all. And right there, nice handoff underneath to Norman Whitley. And then the rest is by the sophomore running back from Pasadena, Maryland, showing you the speed to get to the end zone.
First touchdown run this year, second touchdown overall for Whitley. And the point after good. 4 plays after NC State ties the game. The Pirates right back on top by 7.
ESPN's College Football, brought to you by Kingsford. Get your tailgate started right with Kingsford Charcoal from the Home Depot. And John Hancock, the future is yours.
The facilities at North Carolina State better than some NFL facilities, believe it or not. And you've got this running pool here on campus. 3 camera angles to monitor the exercise as well.
Sweet.
That's one of the reasons why Tom O'Brien took this job. Just a better chance to win and recruit at NC State than at Boston College. Right now his team down 7. TJ Graham, a playmaker. as the kick return man across the 30 and does well to get to the 34. Now let's go to Reese Davis in the studio.
Little piece of history for you guys in the Georgia Tech Mississippi State game. Tech pinned in its own end. Little Paul Johnson option, and Jonathan Dwyer's about to set sail in the longest run in Yellow Jacket history. Watch him point out his blockers. 88 yards. Mississippi State in 2.5 games against FBS opponents has scored 16 points total. A comeback not likely. It's 28-0 early in the third.
Georgia Tech losing that game to Virginia Tech last week, but bouncing back today against Mississippi State. Meanwhile, Russell Wilson back at quarterback. Nick Johnson with a nice play, though, and a loss of 2 there. Johnson replacing Quentin Cotton, who's out for the year with a knee injury. The lingering question this year was, how do you replace Chris Johnson after over 1,400 rushing yards a year ago? First-round draft choice by the Tennessee Titans. Well, I'll tell you what, Norman Whitley did his best Johnson impression, outrunning everybody. That's what Johnson did at East Carolina. 42-yard run, their first rushing play, over 20 yards all year.
Yeah, they're trying to do it, but running back by committee. Brandon Simmons got to start, Jonathan Williams, and then Norman Whitley with a big touchdown run.
Here's Eugene on second down, ripped down by Jay Ross. That defensive line for East Carolina playing a little bit better now.
Oh, we'll take a look at the touchdown. This was made it partly because of the fake on the part of Patrick Pinckney. It opened up things, pulled defenders away from Norman Whitley, and then he had a clear path to the end zone. Excellent play fake by the quarterback.
And this is what East Carolina wants defensively, keeping NC State in third down and long. 92 yards on the ground today, 42 on that play, only at 50 in the first half. Wilson facing pressure. Wilson going to throw deep, man wide open. Incomplete. Jarvis Williams couldn't handle it at the 10-yard line. What a throw by Russell Wilson, though.
Excellent throw. Jarvis Williams had a touchdown, the last touchdown for NC State, but he's a young player who the coaches have been waiting on to have a coming out party. He stays alive for the quarterback, and that's all you really want to do. Now take care of business and finish it up.
Wow.
Man, how you can't get it thrown to you any better.
Remember, too, that was across the field and deep by
young
Wilson.
Man is pouring his heart into this football game. Russell Wilson, you got to take your hat off to the effort that he is displaying this afternoon.
All the big plays have been made by East Carolina. Got to make a big play if you're going to beat a ranked team if you're NC State. Here's another big play. Darryl Freeney on the punt return across the 40-yard line.
You know, I always say, Dave, that coaches earn their paychecks in the locker room at halftime. And Skip Holtz certainly said something to his Pirate football team, because they've come out here in the second half. They look totally different. They look more calm. They look a lot more composed. And, you know, that senior leadership as well, you're starting to see it kind of take over on the field for East Carolina.
Well, you'd have to think he wasn't real happy after the first half, so I don't know what he said at intermission.
Like been a fly on the wall in there, right?
But again, East Carolina, because they've got a senior-laden team, as Harris gets close to midfield, but a penalty flag down. And we were talking about this yesterday with Tom O'Brien, and he made the point, and something we were discussing in our meetings this week just amongst ourselves, about how college football is becoming a lot like the NCAA tournament in basketball. I'll tell you more on that after this call.
Holding. Number 10 on the offense. 10-yard penalty. First down.
That's on Jamar Bryant. But when you have seniors, just like in men's basketball in the NCAA tournament, you get a chance to go far. And considering that the regular season in college football is almost like a tournament, when you have seniors, you got a chance to do something special. And last week, a game they could have easily lost, Pinckney leads them back for a touchdown inside of 2 minutes. NC State ties the game here. 4 plays later, they're back on top.
Yeah, good point, because a lot of athletic directors don't allow you to stay around long enough to see that first recruiting class that you have become seniors. So you guys are usually out of jobs by the time the kids become seniors.
A lot of players leave early, too, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Heisman Trophy winner. Here's a pass that's thrown toward the far sideline, incomplete. Intended for Freeney. Tonight on ABC, Georgia heads west, furthest west they've ever gone to play a game. They'll take on Arizona State at Sun Devil Stadium. Well, 5 o'clock local time, still be about 100 degrees. See how Georgia does in that weather. Saturday Night Football presented by Southwest Airlines on ABC tonight.
Well, they talk about dry heat. Hot is hot. I remember going into Arizona State one year, and it was 107 on the field for a 7 p.m. kickoff. It was just as hot as it was earlier in the day.
And you got those metal seats there at Sun Devil Stadium with that sun just beating down on it.
That's right.
Arizona State lost at home, though, to a team that I guess is used to that kind of weather, UNLV last week in overtime. Pinckney taken off on 2nd down and long, and he gets about 12 across the 40 to the 43. Byers and Morgan tackle him, and here's Reese Davis.
All right, Dave, Central Michigan is absolutely giving Purdue fit. So we're close to midfield. Dan Lefevre, oh, that was ill-advised, and it's picked off by Frank Duong, who's going to take it all the way back. The pick 6 giving the Boilermakers the lead. 17-10. Central again trying to move the ball against Purdue. Close to midfield. We'll keep you up to date.
A rematch of the Motor City Bowl from last year.
Yeah, it was an exciting game last year.
It was.
Meanwhile, Ohio State only leads by 4 late in the 3rd quarter against Troy. No, Pinckney with a pump fake, and then he takes off. I don't know, he didn't fumble that ball. His arm came all the way forward. He gets to the 46. Audie Augustin on the tackle. It'll be 4th down for East Carolina.
One of the difference in Patrick Pinckney this year has been he's just been a decision maker. Great job of not throwing that football into coverage, pulling it down, and he can make plays with his legs. He's made smart decisions for East Carolina this season. That's kept them, or actually won them, the 3 ball games they've won this year.
Dodge almost got that blocked. Oh, it hit Williams. Or make that Graham. And it's recovered at the 19-yard line. Wolfpack say they have it. T.J. Graham gets lucky.
Well, I don't know who
blew that one.
I don't know who came up with the football for East Carolina. I mean, excuse me, for
Jamal Simmons for
NC State. But there were like 4 white jerseys around the football, and he squeezes right in between all of them.
True freshman T.J. Graham. Should I let it go? Oh, it's live ball now. Heads up play by Simmons. NC State keeps. In its previous 3 games against FBS foes and 14 today, but trailing by 7 right now.
Like Tom O'Brien, trotting T.J. Graham right back, get him right back in the mix. Had a little fumble problem there, whether or not to field the punt, and they trot him right back out there, let him get back in the game. I like that.
1st down at the 20. And Wilson going to throw, being chased by Linville Joseph. And Wilson waits to the last possible second and finds Spencer tackled at the 30-yard line.
Well, when you have a coach like Tom O'Brien, you know, you're just so calm, and he can keep guys in the game. You see him right here, that just kind of an unspoken respect for the head coach. Nobody's moving, you know, just waiting right by the bus, and when he says, hey, okay, it's time to go, and all the guys, they start moving. But there's a lot of respect for their head coach. You get a tight ball game, you hear him right there, let's go.
Not a lot of hooting and hollering.
Yeah, no, not at all.
A lot of people think because O'Brien is a military guy with 9 years spent in the Marine Corps, as Brown gets to the 33, that O'Brien's an in-your-face guy, but he's very laid back and very different from Chuck Amato, who was the head coach here before O'Brien. Yeah. Who was kind of always in the mix and a talker and had the red shoes with the white sunglasses. O'Brien very much more reserved, and sometimes a player says you don't even know he's in the room in a meeting or at practice because he lets his assistants coach. Wilson underneath. Andre Brown gets the 1st down, try to hurdle a defender, and undercut by Jarek Hewitt. Now to Reese Davis in the studio.
All right, guys, been keeping an eye on a couple of games, including Iowa and Pittsburgh on ESPN 2. It's been a day for quarterbacks to score on the run. Pittsburgh's done it twice. Now Iowa's Jake Christensen sneaking in there. 17-14. Hawkeyes just got a turnover from the Panthers. They have the ball back up 3. Hey, second time in 3 home games, Buckeyes in trouble going to the 4th. We'll keep an eye on Troy for you, and Penn State's cruising over Temple.
Wow, what is going on with the Buckeyes? That'd be a huge win for Iowa if they can score that one at Pitt. Eugene to midfield picked up 3.
Well, Troy, you're certainly going to waltz over them. You just roll your helmets out there and beat Troy. They're going to show up to play football.
Ground control to Major Tom O'Brien. He's a major in the reserves, 9 years in the Marine Corps. His tours included Japan. Did a great job at Boston College in 10 years. Here's Wilson doing a great job running the football. He has really managed the game well today. Gets to the 33-yard line in East Carolina territory.
Well, you make a good point about Tom O'Brien. He's got that calm demeanor, and that rubs off on the entire team. They don't panic when in close ball games like this. You keep a level head. I think Russell Wilson is benefiting from that as well. The young guy continuing to fight, and we hadn't seen this type of offensive output from NC State, not in any of the film I watched this week, getting prepared for this game. So this is really a growth period for Russell Wilson and this entire offensive unit for NC State.
Andre Brown twirled to the turf at the 29 by Chambliss. Make that Jamil Eugene. Gain of about 4 or 5. This offensive line has done a really good job. We got John Beddix at left guard, a converted defensive lineman. Ted Larson at center, another converted DL. An ex-walk-on at right guard. They've done a good job protecting Wilson and opening up holes as well.
Tough guys up front. John Beddix and Ted Larson, and guys that just play to the whistle.
That's another Tom O'Brien specialty. Was an excellent offensive line coach for a long time. Here's Eugene to the 15 and taking on the defender, Dakota Marshall, to the 12-yard line. And now a penalty flag comes in.
Boy, this is an excellent job of playing the position by Russell Wilson, looking down the field on 2 occasions in this drive. One, he looks, deep zone drops by East Carolina. He comes underneath to Andre Brown. The second one, that play to Jamil Eugene, just taking what the defense gives you. I think we're seeing a quarterback grow up right before our eyes.
After the play was over, personal foul, number 29.
Well,
on the offense, 15-yard penalty, first down.
Apparently there's a running back that needs to grow up. That's just absolutely foolish why you would do that after you get a first down here and you're on offense.
Well, a nice tough run right there, and then let's see what goes on after the play.
Well, Nick Johnson there was giving him a little bit extra, and then Eugene got up and either said something or did something.
A little kick backwards was what it was. It was a kick backwards as he was getting from under the getting himself up.
You just got to be smart there.
Yep.
Tom O'Brien won't stand for that.
And not the head coach of that football team. No way.
You go from the 12 or 13 back to about the 28. Wilson flushed out, and that throw just off the mark, intended for George Bryan. Tried to make a one-handed grab inside the 10.
Boy, he got a little pressure early, and it looked like he had Jay Smith, the wide receiver that was in the slot, going up the seam, and just as he cleared the linebacker, he was wide open, but Russell Wilson was flushed out of the pocket right and wasn't able to get himself set and make that delivery. But man, was Jay Smith wide open.
That seems like a rarity today. Wilson looks like he's doing a pretty good job keeping his eyes downfield.
Yeah, well, he just got a little pressure.
Oh, how about that move against Pierre Bell? Just totally shook him. Great job by Eskridge, though, to knock that pass away from T.J. Graham at the 10-yard line.
He'll watch the film tomorrow, Russell Wilson, and wish that he had kept this football wide open to the first down marker. Now, this is a good job of keeping your eyes down the field, and you never want to discourage a quarterback from doing this, delivering the football to an open receiver. But right now, you've got green grass. I can just take it. There's plenty of room out in front of him to pick up the first down, and that's all you want to do in that situation. Continue to move the chains.
Instead, it's 3rd down and 10. This is the 32nd play that NC State has run in East Carolina territory, but it's going to have to wait. There's a penalty flag.
Well, watch as he comes out of here. Look at all the green grass out in front of him in this area, and that's you can just walk to the first down marker right
you're
there.
Not kidding. He is right now.
Yep.
And now it's 3rd and 15 after that false start penalty. And it would be about a 50-yard field goal. The long for Josh Chakowski this year is 39 yards. We're talking about there 32 plays in East Carolina territory. The Pirates have only 7. Really, the difference in this game is that pick 6 for ECU in the first quarter. Wilson with time to throw, going to go short on 3rd down. Eugene inside the 25. They're making about 4th and 6. What do you do? Do you try the field goal? Yeah, you got to take a shot here at the field goal.
You take the points in this situation and get some points on the board. You had a long drive. You want to reward the team with some points. Now you got to knock it down. Only 3 of 5 this year, 60%.
Yeah, and the long is only 39. This is about 41. But it is in the middle of the field. A 41-yard try for sophomore Josh Chakowski. And he nails it. So the Wolfpack come up with points, and they cut the East Carolina lead to 4.
Oh, yeah, nice drive. They had a couple of occasions where you overcame a little bit of adversity. Russell Wilson, a young quarterback, moving this football team, and now you want to reward at the end of a hard-fought drive like that. They get it in the way of a field goal. NC State very much in this football game, Dave.
Well, Andre, tonight 2 of the top teams in the SEC do battle. Les Miles and the LSU Tigers head to Auburn. Dating back to 2000, the home team has won every game. Can LSU break the streak? College football primetime presented by Hampton Hotels on ESPN tonight at 7:45 Eastern. We were talking with Mike Archer, the defensive coordinator for NC State, about this rivalry because he was the head coach at LSU from 1987 to 1990. And even he remembers back when he was there and Pat Dye was the coach at Auburn that all the games were close and low scoring. He said one was 7-3, the other was 7-6. Although last year was a high-scoring game.
I think eventually the visiting team will break through. It just won't be today.
Yeah.
I think Auburn will take care of business at home. No doubt about it.
That was an 11-play drive and had to settle for 3 points. But NC State cuts the lead to 4. Dwayne Harris for East Carolina crosses the 25. Pulled down at the 31-yard line by Michelle.
Well, Dwayne Harris is a playmaker for East Carolina. They like to get him the ball. You see him throw him that little swing pass out in the flat. That's their way of an extended handoff and getting him going. You'll see it, time and time again. If he's lined up in the slot, look for Patrick Pinckney to take that one step off the line of scrimmage and sling it out there to him. And he's so good in space against defenders that they definitely want to get it to him.
If you're Archer, do you come after him? You come after Pinckney?
I think you have to. But you're missing a playmaker in Nate Irvin.
Yep, he's back out after an ankle injury in the first half. Finds Harris, and he scoots forward to about the 35-yard line. Let's go a little bit more in depth on Patrick Pinckney.
In depth.
Well, you talk about the communication that you have to have as a senior quarterback right there, directing the troops as well. You got to be able to make some plays right here, pulling the ball down. Not everything is perfect. Watch the footwork, always underneath them, delivering the football, and then the quick release when guys are in your face. That is the sign of a good quarterback right there. Patrick Pinckney, the senior quarterback for East Carolina.
As a touchdown pass today, Whitley has a touchdown run, and he escaped from a couple of tacklers and picks up the first down. Willie Young eventually made the tackle. Nice moves by sophomore Norman Whitley.
When you talk about trying to replace 1,400 yards on the ground of Chris Johnson, 17 touchdowns, Norman Whitley is well on his way today. Nice touchdown run, and there a big conversion for a first down. Not a big guy, 5'9", about 187 pounds, but he's playing big today.
Had a big game last week against Tulane, a 51-yard touchdown catch in that win against the Green Wave. Play clock down to 1, and the officials see it. Delay a game coming up unless East Carolina called timeout.
Well, that's that 40 seconds right there. You've got to get it called, get in and out of the huddle, because it's set and it's winding down. Actually, it's the quarter.
Yep, end of the quarter. So we go to the fourth with East Carolina trying to get to 4-0, leading by 4 on the road. North Carolina State head coach Tom O'Brien said this game is as big as an ACC game because East Carolina's ranked and it's a rival. And there have been some huge hits today between these two schools. East Carolina trying to get to 4-0, keep its hopes alive of busting the BCS. Dwayne Harris breaking a tackle and close to the first down at the 41 in NC State territory. Well, North Carolina State right now trailing by 4 despite the fact it leads East Carolina in total yards, first downs, and time of possession. Ahead, we're going to look at the state of Carolina football, North and South Carolina. And then later, can the Pirates stay perfect? They have Virginia. That's their only other non-conference game. And the rest of their games in Conference USA. And they do not play Tulsa in the regular season. There is a championship game in Conference USA. Freeney to the 40. And he is pushed out of bounds at the 39-yard line as we go to Reese Davis in the studio.
Fellas, looks like the Buckeyes are going to get out of trouble, and they're doing it because of the kicking game. A down to punt, put Troy right back.
And looking down the field, and it is lofted to Robisky. He's got it, touchdown.
Terrell Pryor can throw, huh?
Just a little bit. True freshman doing some work today.
Meanwhile, a huge running play by Jonathan Williams as they're gashing NC State up the middle. J.C. Neal eventually on the tackle at the 15.
Well, plays like that's the reason why I made him an impact player for this game. Jonathan Williams, I don't know why, but you watch the hole, the crease right here for Jonathan Williams. Right there, look at that hole. Dave, you could go down there and pick up 2 yards on that play. But Jonathan Williams turns it into a big play. I love the guy. He is a playmaker. He comes into the football game, and all of a sudden, big plays just happen for East Carolina.
Dude, I run a 5 flat, man. I might have gotten 3 yards.
All right, 5 yards.
Pinckney in shotgun. Low snap. Pinckney guns it, and it's knocked down, incomplete. It was Burgess. Got his hands on it.
5 flat, huh?
Maybe on a good day.
Oh, man, 5 flat. I may lay a little bit on that one. I may take you up on a bet.
You know, speaking of 40 times, Chris Johnson ran the best 40 time
no
ever
doubt.
at the Combine. First-round draft pick by Tennessee. And coming into this game, we're wondering, is somebody going to step up at that position? Whitley and Williams have both had big plays at running back today.
I think Williams is the guy to ultimately replace him. He's a young football player for East Carolina, but a guy that can certainly get it done. He can make big plays.
Pinckney to the air, finds Bryant, one-on-one out there. The help comes, and Bryant stood up at the 5, but he may have the first down.
You know, there's that one player that steps into the huddle, whether it's the quarterback, whether it's a wide receiver. I think in East Carolina's case, it's at running back, and it's Jonathan Williams. They look like a totally different offensive unit when this kid comes in the ball game. He is special. I don't know what he's got to do to get himself more playing time, but he's certainly a difference maker when he steps in the huddle for East Carolina.
He's the tailback here on 1st and goal inside the 5-yard line. And he'll get it. Cut it back to the 2. And stacked up at the 1. Justin Byers leads the charge. It'll bring up 2nd down and goal as East Carolina tries to make it a 2-possession game.
Well, Coach Pash, what do you do right here? 2nd down and goal and
keep it on the ground.
2.
Keep it on the ground, a little play
2.
fake with a bootleg to Pinckney.
Give it to 2 again. That's what I'm going to do. Just give it to 2. Let him get himself into the end zone. Well, you know that yard per carry average is going down here. It's up over 18. Going to take a lick or 2.
No, they give it to the fullback, Brandon Simmons, and he didn't get in. Good job by the defensive front. Do you keep it on the ground here, or do you go to the air on 3rd down?
Well, I go right back to you know what, and it's 4-down territory for me. Come down through a long drive like this. I've got the lead, trying to really establish and take over this football game. You know, I'm going to give it to Jonathan Williams again. If he doesn't get in, I'm going to go for it on 4th down. Rivalry game on the road. Take care of business right now.
It'll be Williams, and he does not get in. Great penetration by North Carolina State. Ray Michelle firing into the backfield for the Wolfpack. Well, it's 4th down and more than one now, depending on where they spot the ball, but it looks like ECU is going to go.
I like this call. I like it by Skip Holtz. You can kind of take, if you're able to get in, you take some air out of North Carolina State. If you don't, you got them pinned down inside the 1-yard line with a freshman quarterback under the center, and your defense playing some pretty good football.
I'd take the points. I'd take the 3, make it a touchdown lead, but Skip Holtz going to go for it here on 4th down and goal. And Williams taken down at the 6. North Carolina State football. J.C. Neal, the man to greet him. Somebody blew a block, and NC State takes over after East Carolina has a 1st and goal inside the 5 and can't get in on 4 tries.
Well, there was a little miscommunication going on by Brandon Simmons and Jonathan Williams, and they were trying to, it was a big mix-up. He turns around, he looks at Jonathan Williams, and then right there, J.C. Neal comes free. He's thinking that Kevin Guidry, Brandon Simmons is thinking Kevin Guidry's going to pick him up. Simmons turns around, he misses the block totally, and he's right in the backfield with Jonathan Williams.
Low snap. Hand off to Eugene, broke a tackle, and gives NC State a little bit more breathing room out to the 10-yard line.
Well, here's the confusion that we were talking about the play before between Brandon Simmons and Jonathan Williams. Right there, you see him talking. He's trying to get him set, telling him to move on out there. And then he misses the block entirely with J.C. Neal, who comes into the backfield and disrupts things. And you're thinking the quarterback should sense that. He can't see it. He's under the center, thinking everybody's in place behind him and ready to go. What a big play.
Wilson going to run on 2nd and 5. Has the speed if he gets to the outside, but he tripped. He stumbles to about the 14. We'll see where they spot it as to whether he gets the 1st down or not.
Well, if you're Dana Bible and the offensive unit for NC State, you just want a little breathing room, and they've been able to accomplish that on 2 plays. A nice run by Jamil Eugene as well. That play on 2nd down by Russell Wilson. And now, you got yourself set up in 3rd and short. Take care of business here, and then it's dealer's choice.
Going back to East Carolina, though, you're on the road. You're down there, 3 chances you don't get in. I think you take the points.
I still go for it. Right. You got a chance to really take a lot of fight out of East Carolina. Your defense is playing pretty good.
See if they can stop North Carolina State on 3rd and 1. They do. First hit by Nick Johnson, and they did not get the 1st down. J.J. Millbrook jumped in there as well. Nick Johnson replacing the injured Quentin Cotton, who's out for the season with a knee injury. He's got 8 tackles today, a couple for a loss.
Yeah, you mentioned he took over for their playmaker, Quentin Cotton. The coaches really like him. They view him as a starter, though he came in as a backup. He's played some over at the strong side linebacker position, can play all 3, whether it's middle linebacker, he backs up Pierre Bell. At certain times, he's taken over for Quentin Cotton on the outside, but can play all over. Versatile guy that keeps himself on the field.
And not a good kick by Pearson. It takes an NC State bounce to the 40-yard line. East Carolina by 4 with the ball with 8 minutes remaining after a 46-yard punt. See if the Pirates can hang on and go to 4-0 when we come back. This game being broadcast in high definition on ESPN HD. Could it be the witching hour for East Carolina here in Raleigh with their BCS hopes on the line every week and leading by 4?
That was kind of spooky.
Freak you out a little bit? You all right?
That might cause you to lose a little sleep if that happens at night. A little howling by the Wolfpack outside.
Well, they haven't had much bite this season. They're 0-2 against FBS schools. Their only win coming against William and Mary. But they got a chance here against the Pirates, but they got to get the ball back or force a turnover. Pinckney, great run, beautiful moves on the outside. That's what Pinckney does best. He's become a better passer this year. He's always been a good runner, and he gets the first down to the 49 of NC State.
Well, we talked a little bit about his decision making. You see right here as when to hand it, when to give it, when to get himself down. A nice patient run, setting up blocks. You know, he can do so much with his legs. And I think the thing about it is even when he's passing and he decides to run, he's gone through that process of eliminating receivers in the progression, and then it's take off with the football and make a play.
East Carolina 3-0. Their last 4-0 start was in '99. Play fake. Pinckney's pass caught over the middle. Devon Drew scored a touchdown earlier in the game and gets to the 27 here for another East Carolina first down. Here's Reese Davis now in the studio.
All right, fellas, we think that Ohio State's out of the woods. Purdue, not so much against Central Michigan. Dan Lefevre, he's a threat passing, he's a threat running, and in the fourth quarter, he goes in, and the Chippewas have it tied at 17 in the fourth.
That kid threw for over 3,000 last year, rushed for over 1,100. Dan Lefevre, he can play football.
Pinckney, he can play football too. Did well just to get positive yardage there to the 25. Shane McKean backside was waiting for him.
Like what Todd Fitch is doing right here, just kind of working that clock. You know, you're running the quarterback. You know it's safe in the hands of your senior leader. Patrick Pinckney calling a couple of runs for him where he's showing to get the flow of the defense going one way and then allowing his playmaker at the quarterback position. This is the true definition of making plays with your legs, and as well milking that clock down around 6.5 minutes left in this ball game.
Pinckney averaging 7 yards a carry, 1 rushing touchdown in the season. Pump fake and a hand to Whitley. They scored on this play last quarter, and Whitley trying to get to the outside, inside the 10-yard line.
Boy, a nice non-block by Alex Taylor, the wide receiver, who was coming back to throw a block, and he's going to come right into your right-hand part of your screen, right about here. He pulls up and doesn't make that block. You see him right there, but he picks up a second guy. He could have thrown a block on DeAndre Morgan, but he might have gotten him just in the back of the shoulder pads where it would have been a block in the back. He pulls off, and it allowed Norman Whitley to get himself on outside, but then he has the presence in mind to pick up an additional block so no one falls back and makes a play. Good job by the receiver, Alex Taylor.
Another sign of a veteran team being smart. Williams upended, but inside the 5-yard line. East Carolina turned it over on downs. Last possession inside the 5. Second and goal coming up.
Well, he's got good size, Jonathan Williams. You'll see him right here. Very athletic, fast, a nice body for a running back, and he's just tough. You know, when you get thrown on your head and flipped over like that and you hop right back up, I think he's got a little toughness, don't you, Dave?
I would agree. 6'1", 200 pounds. Doesn't hurt either. Timeout, NC State. Second down and goal. Norman Whitley in the backfield with Pinckney. East Carolina trying to make it a 2-possession game. Pinckney gonna keep, and he's gonna get hit at the 4 and lose yardage. Jeremy Gray with great run support from his cornerback position. It's 3rd and goal.
Here's what I'd do if I'm East Carolina. You've run the ball 5 consecutive times now. 4 down on this end of the field the series ago, and then that one to Patrick Pinckney on the keep by the quarterback. Now just show it inside to either Jonathan Williams and then go over the top to Javon Drew, the tight end. Just a nice little play fake and a nice toss over the top to your tight end, who's also a playmaker. But they're going into the gun here.
Pinckney with a rollout on 3rd and goal. To the back of the end zone, incomplete. It was tipped by Jamar Bryant. Bryant, but I don't think he was the intended receiver.
Yeah, I think
Alex Taylor was in the back of the end zone, and he was open.
Skip Holt's going to take the points here, but boy, I'm telling you, Alex Taylor's wide open. Watch him work the back of the end line right there. It's tipped by his own receiver, Jamar Bryant,
right,
which throws it off. And Alex Taylor, that was meant for the receiver in the back of the end zone. Of course, if you're Jamar Bryant, you can't fault the effort of trying to come up with the football himself.
So they take the point, something they should have done the last time. Sorry, Andre. Because now you'd have a chance to make it a 10-point game. And the 21-yard field goal is good by Ben Hartman. Instead, it's a one-possession game. 4:27 remaining in the fourth quarter. East Carolina trying to get to 4-0.
ESPN's College Football is presented by Cars.com, where confidence comes standard. And in part by EAS, don't waste your workout. And ESPN Game Plan. Today, catch Miami, Texas A&M, and Alabama, Arkansas.
Tobacco Road, and basketball season right around the corner. And in Durham, you see fans waiting. This isn't for season tickets. This is to get into the lottery to be eligible for season tickets at Duke. But right now, everybody talking football, and Duke actually doing okay this year in football. North Carolina plays Virginia Tech on ABC in about 30 minutes. You got this game today here in Raleigh, and then tonight Wake Forest on the road on ESPN2 at Florida State.
Yeah, Duke got him a good head coach in David Cutcliffe.
Graham will take it out. Graham going the length of the field, getting some blocks. Breaks a tackle at the 25. Across the 35. Great return for Graham, exactly what NC State needed, as we go to Reese Davis in the studio.
All right, Dave, Andre, we want to get you up to date on everything that's going on right now. ESPN2, we got a barn burner going as they're going to commercial. Pittsburgh has a 1-point lead on Iowa, 21-20, under 5 minutes to go. And on ESPNU, Boston College trailing UCF 7-3, but the Eagles are on the doorstep right now with a 3rd and goal. We'll see if they score. They do. Touchdown. Chris Crane running it in. Boston College has the lead.
All right, Reese, appreciate the play-by-play. And Tom O'Brien's old school, Boston College, his current institution, with an opportunity to tie East Carolina on this drive. Remember, the Pirates are undefeated at 15th in the country.
Where are you hiding that crystal ball? Because you said during the break that, you know, in order for it to happen for NC State, got to have a big kick return and good field position. I want to know what you're looking at over there.
Well, Russell Wilson, you know, he needs to be in a position where he didn't have to go 80 yards. And NC State has not had a lot of big plays today. Well, we mentioned that East Carolina's undefeated, and they've 2 very good wins already. Virginia Tech on a block punt return for a touchdown in West Virginia. BYU throttles UCLA 1 week after that controversial win against Washington. Utah beats Michigan by 2. Boy, Michigan looked terrible against Notre Dame last week. And then you got teams like TCU hanging around, and Air Force, Mountain West 5-0 against the Pac-10, 4-0 last week against the Pac-10 conference.
Well, they're going to get tested next week, and they play University of Houston next week. They can throw it around a little bit. East Carolina, look out next week.
Wilson to the air on 1st down, and this time Williams makes the catch. He dropped a big one earlier, but pulls that one in inside the 30.
Boy, Russell Wilson is showing you some grit at the position of quarterback for North Carolina State. Look at him here. You're just going to see him stand, make plays. Makes plays with his leg, uses his eyes. That's the touchdown pass to Andre Brown. Right here, you see him look off the defense, come back to Jarvis Williams. You know, another play that he makes with his legs. This kid here, he is growing up.
A blitz coming off the corner, and he still completes it to Andre Brown. Brown all the way to the 12-yard line. This kid, Russell Wilson, can play. He got rid of that at the last second as that corner blitz was coming from Emmanuel Davis.
Boy, hanging in the pocket to the final second, kind of surveying the defense. And then here, I'm going to just take the check down to Andre Brown as he's being tackled there by Emmanuel Davis. But keeping your eyes down the field allows you to make plays like that at that position.
A lot of young quarterbacks don't do that, right?
No, you know, if you don't see the first guy, you know, he was in high school. That's what he was taught. Hey, if the first guy's not open, pull it down. You're special. You can run. Now he's got to learn it a different way.
Here's Wilson with a couple of fancy moves inside the 10. They can get a first down before the touchdown. Van Eskridge on the tackle.
You know, they talk about, you know, Mike Glennon. He's highly recruited and this, that, and the other. Hey, when I was at the University of Houston, there were a couple of guys that were recruited ahead of me, and you know, you just kind of keep plowing away. Russell Wilson right now getting the experience on the field, and if you want to take the step back to go with another redshirt freshman again, then you do it. But you know, I kind of like this kid, Russell Williams. He gives you a chance to be special. He gives you a chance to make plays with his legs. Hey, you never know how it turns out.
Wilson being chased, and he overthrows. George Bryan maybe just threw it away that time. 3rd down and 7, and you would think 4-down territory, right? 2:26 to go.
No doubt about it, but you know, right there, that's the second time today he's had to throw the football away, or not had to, but he has thrown it away. And you know what it does? He's learning, because if he takes a say, he's behind the down and distance marker. He's got tremendous pressure coming in on him. Didn't try to force one in there. Just throw it out of the back of the end zone, come back again and fight on 3rd down. Those are things that a young quarterback have to learn in order to be successful playing that position.
He's got both of his touchdown passes on 3rd down. This is 3rd and 7. And he's got one that's caught at the 1. The ball's fumbled. No signal yet. That should be a touchdown. George Bryan caught it. They're going to say that his knee was down at the 1 before the fumble, because it was recovered by NC State in the end zone.
Well, what I like is that Russell Wilson's going to feel the pressure. You know you're going to get blitzed down here. You're a freshman quarterback, redshirt freshman quarterback.
They're going no huddle here, Andre. Right up to the line is Wilson. Penalty flags fly. They tried to go no huddle and sneak that past East Carolina, and somebody moved.
Ball start. Snap infraction on the center. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Well, that's tough. But the play before, you know you're going to get blitz as a quarterback. You got to stand in there or get back, get set, and get the football out. He's able to find his tight end right over the middle for a big-time game, right to the goal line, so to speak. But I think they were afraid maybe of a replay or something.
Why would you hurry it up there? You've got a rookie center who's never played offensive line in his life before this year. And you try that stuff against a veteran East Carolina team. Why not just take your time? You got 4 shots to get it in.
No doubt about it.
Now it's 1st down and goal with the ball outside the 5-yard line. Here's Brown, stood up at the 5. Nothing there. Pierre Bell leads the way for East Carolina. 2nd down and goal, approaching 90 seconds remaining.
Boy, you know, if you're be alert here for the quarterback draw with Russell Wilson, as he may fake to Andre Brown. Andre turns back and blocks the backside, and then he's right out the gate, because there's a nice little crease over the left tackle for him, between the left tackle and left guard.
Wilson to the end zone, dropped. Now they're saying touchdown. Bryan caught it. One official said incomplete, the other said touchdown. Which is it? Now the officials are conferring at the goal line.
The ruling on the field is incomplete pass.
One official said incomplete, the other said touchdown. Let's take a look.
Right here, nice little quick pass, and it's thrown right away from the defender. This is going to be a touchdown.
What a catch by George Bryan.
Look at this one. Yeah, no doubt about it. George Bryan bails him out, and a great catch. But Russell Wilson, the placement of the football makes the play. Away from the defender. Away from the defender and low and inside where only George Bryan can make this play.
This is the only scholarship tight end on the roster, a freshman that's normally the number 3 tight end. But you got 2 guys out, Anthony Hill with a pec injury, Matt Kusher out for the year with a knee injury, and watch this.
just low and away where the East Carolina defender there can't make a play on the football. J.J. Millbrook cannot get to it, and a great play by George Bryant.
You see the official here on the near side, the line judge. The umpire called it incomplete. The line judge called it touchdown. And the line judge had the better view of it.
Yep. It's going to be a touchdown. No. We've had some funny business going on at replay stuff today, though.
One overturn in the first half we didn't think would happen, and it's got to be conclusive. It appears to be conclusive. If it is overturned, that would be the third touchdown today for Russell Wilson.
Well, maybe they're just trying to make sure they get it right, but that one on
Let me ask you a crazy question.
We've looked at it's been a touchdown pass. You take another look right here, just a nice quick release, low and inside to George Bryant, and he actually traps it on his knee and comes up and rolls over with the football.
Let me ask you a crazy question, Andre. If this is reversed and it's a touchdown, you go for two? Try to win the game in regulation?
You know what? I would do that, Dave, because you got just a minute 12, or it's going to be even less than that, and you're going to force them to go to drive the field to put it in the end. I think you do go for two.
I don't know. It takes some guts, but you know what?
No, you know,
wouldn't be surprised.
I don't know. Young quarterback. I don't know. Maybe just go on into overtime.
Taking a long time to look at this one. It appears, though, that Brian caught it, as you said, Andre, pinned it against his knee. Again, the line judge had the better view of it, but
I think I take my chances going to overtime.
All right, so you change your mind, you go for the one.
You know, you can call a timeout and think it over. I'd call a timeout up here. Reassess the situation, and you know, the coaches in my head talked me into kicking the extra point.
I wonder if the players out there would want to go for two.
Well, a little Denver Bronco type stuff from the other day. But right here, what a fine pass by Russell Wilson. Right there, just a nice pass. George Bryant going to trap it on his knee, roll it over. It's a touchdown. It is a touchdown indeed.
How does the umpire, who's right there, roll that incomplete? I mean, he's looking right at it.
The receiver cleanly caught the ball.
Great explanation. Cleanly caught it.
Yep. NC State's going for one. They're going for the point after. How about that? 23 points today after just 9, and no touchdowns against FBS schools since November of last year. But Skip Holtz was here last week. They were down against Tulane and came back to win it in the final 2 minutes. Extra point is good. We're tied at 24.
Oh, what a ball game.
It's a terrific rivalry living up to the billing. We're even at 24 with just over a minute to play. Don't go away. 8 Eastern on ABC tonight. Number 3 Georgia heading to Tempe to take on Arizona State. Saturday Night Football presented by Southwest Airlines on ABC. Over on ESPN, we had LSU and Auburn. Wake Forest, Florida State on ESPN2 tonight. The sheer joy of a kid loving to play a game. Russell Wilson, 3 touchdown passes for the redshirt freshman today.
Well, what a performance that Russell Wilson has had this afternoon.
He had 0 career touchdowns coming into this game, and he's got 3 here today. Chakowski's been kicking it short all day. He does again. Williams across the 20. And up to the 32-yard line.
You saw the joy of a kid. Watch a coach who knows the business as well right here. He's just as calm and cool as ever. Tom O'Brien, calm in those types of situations, and his team knows how to respond. We'll see if they can hold up defensively here.
Somehow, I think Chuck Amato's reaction would have been a little different a couple of years ago.
You think so?
With the red shoes and white sunglasses jumping around on the sideline. First down for East Carolina on its 32-yard line. And Pinckney's going to throw. Underneath, as a penalty flag flies, Freeney gets the first down, but that flag thrown right smack dab in the middle of holding.
Yeah, it's going to be holding from the umpire.
Holding. Number 78 on the offense. 10-yard penalty. First down.
What's going to be number 74? Terrence Campbell at the top of your screen right there, right around the neck, and that is a whole big time. Willie Young is like, what do I have to do to get a flag thrown? Terrence Campbell is
moving over to left tackle today.
Yeah, great story in himself. Able to come back from heart surgery at February 27th of last year and get himself back into shape and back on the field.
Stanley Bryant, the normal left tackle, is out 6 to 8 weeks with a knee injury, so Campbell moves over from right tackle. Pinckney with nowhere to go, running in circles, almost ran into a teammate, runs in another circle. If he completes this, oh, what a hit at the 20-yard line. Great play by Morgan, as Freeney was the intended receiver.
Well, now you're out of gas if you're Patrick Pinckney. All that running around, and then you come up with an incomplete pass, and now it's still, second down and 20. But a lot of time ran off that clock, just in circles here, surveying the field, getting away from one. Another defender there, still trying to keep the play alive, but that clock is working against you, and you want to end this game in regulation. A lot of time went off the clock.
East Carolina does have a pair of timeouts remaining, but it's second down and 20, and now they're going to use a timeout with the clock stopped.
ECU, a second timeout.
Even if East Carolina wins this game, after last week narrowly escaping against Tulane, how do people that vote view this? If the Pirates win this game, this is an NC State team that has not beaten an FBS school this year.
Well, you're talking about a team that's playing with nothing to lose, NC State, and they're at home. So East Carolina, they've taken care of business on the road in a neutral site against Virginia Tech early in the season. They had a tough ball game last week at Tulane. They have to come on the road again this week. So if I'm voting, it doesn't affect me whether North Carolina State has won one game or they've won 3 games this season. It's a tough place to go in terms of winning on the road. If you're able to do it, your hat's off to them.
Yeah, but still you think the score, though, the fact that this is going to be a close finish, even if East Carolina wins this game on the heels of BYU blowing out UCLA. Under 20 seconds remain. Pinckney gets away from a defender. And a pass dropped right on the chalk at the 40-yard line. 14 seconds remaining. And it's third down.
Well, that would have been close to a first down if Jamar Bryant was able to come away with that reception.
Tell you what, if I'm East Carolina and NC State does not pick this up, I'm calling timeout. Or excuse me, if I'm NC State and East Carolina doesn't pick this up, timeout right away, forced to punt. Maybe you get one play and a shot at a long field goal.
Anytime you can run plays and you're trying to score, there's time on the clock. Absolutely, Dave. I agree with you 100%.
That's if they stop him here. They're going to run Whitley, dives to the 26-yard line. NC State calls timeout, 9 seconds left. You got a shot to block the punt, and even if you don't, it's going to be tough to run a play. Oh, you saw Pinckney running in circles like a lot of NASCAR drivers. We are kind of in NASCAR country, and drivers will dig deep to leave everyone in their concrete dust as the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series at Dover, presented by Principal Financial Group on ABC, comes your way, beginning with NASCAR Countdown at 1 Eastern Time.
What a great football game. Talk about some young players, and I got to take my hat off to Mike Archer, the defensive coordinator for North Carolina State. When you lose your best playmaker defensively, you got to change your whole scheme. It doesn't allow you to be as aggressive as you wanted to be when your playmaker Nate Irving leaves or exits the game. And so he's been able to kind of reshuffle the cards and still do a pretty good job of keeping East Carolina kind of keeping them under wraps, so to speak. And I take my hat off to him.
Tom O'Brien, you would assume, would be coming after this one. T.J. Graham is back to receive the punt from Matt Dodge, who had a 20-yarder in the first half when faced with some pressure. Here come the Wolfpack. He gets it away. Line drive, and Graham's going to let it go. And we're going to go to overtime. It's down inside the 5, but that will end regulation. This is how it should be in a rivalry game.
Yes, indeed.
We're going to overtime. East Carolina's hopes of maybe playing down the road in a major bowl game at stake right now. So East Carolina will be on offense first. Each team gets a timeout here in overtime. You don't have to go for 2 until you get to the 3rd overtime. East Carolina and North Carolina State even at 24. They'll operate from the 25-yard line. And only the play clock, no game clock. Obviously here in OT.
Well, and if you're asking yourself, well, why doesn't they take the football first? It's because you know what you have to do based on what the opponent accomplishes. Say East Carolina goes down and scores a touchdown. Now it's 3rd down and 10 for, or 4th down and 10 for North Carolina State. You know that you got to get the football into the end zone. So it's a good decision, and most teams will take the football, or actually defer and get the football second.
Got some great games already this week on ESPN with the Connecticut last night in a close one. Colorado beating West Virginia in overtime on Thursday night. Another overtime affair here at a packed Carter-Finley Stadium. Can East Carolina keep it going? Can the Pirates get to 4-0? Can NC State get its first win against an FBS school this season? Last week was a pretty good one for the ACC, trying to get off to a good start this week. North Carolina, Virginia Tech on ABC coming up. And tonight, Wake Forest, Florida State on ESPN2. Along with LSU Auburn on ESPN and on ABC. Georgia and Arizona State.
Well, if they're going to stay undefeated, East Carolina, they're going to have to earn it in this game. And, you know, the kids at North Carolina State, a couple of walk-ons playing, guys shoveling around. And tell you what, they have fought and scratched to get themselves back into this ball game. Patrick Pinckney, the senior quarterback for East Carolina, he is up first here in overtime.
Pinckney 18 of 31, 201 yards and a touchdown. 8 carries, 48 yards. He's going to throw on first down to Dwayne Harris inside the 20 and close to the first down at the 16-yard line. You like that play coming right out?
I like it. You know, there's no hesitation. You know right where you're going with the football, and it's a play they love to run to Dwayne Harris. You know, get him out in that extended handoff, him out in space against any defender. Skip Holtz, they love that. Todd Fitch will throw that over and over and go from one side of the formation to the other with that exact play.
10th catch, 28th on the season for Dwayne Harris, still looking for his first touchdown this year. Might he get it?
Here he is in the slot
on this possession. Running play, Whitley, and he's got the first down, belted at the 12-yard line by J.C. Neal, but it'll be a first down for East Carolina. Now, you said last night, Andre, that this would be a close game. You think it'd be this close?
I didn't think it would be this close. I thought, you know, late in this ball game that maybe the senior leadership would kind of show itself for East Carolina, but this is a tough football game. Man, there's been so long they've fallen asleep on us.
First down. East Carolina can get another first down without getting into the end zone. Pinckney with a ton of time, and now pressure comes, and Pinckney loses the ball. It's picked up by NC State. So the Wolfpack can win it now with a field goal.
Now, if you're Tom O'Brien, you're telling your young quarterback, Russell Wilson, just take care of the football. Make sure you get the quarterback-center exchange. Make sure there's a clean handoff between either if it's Andre Brown or Jamil Eugene, but take care of the football.
Shea McKean with a forced fumble. Willie Young with the fumble recovery.
And I don't think Patrick Pinckney ever sensed that Shea McKean was behind him. Heads up play defensively as well, picking up the football, but he never sensed that he had pressure behind him, and a nice job of kind of swatting at the football by the junior defensive end Shea McQueen for North Carolina State. Now you mentioned it. All you need is a field goal to end this baby and get out of here.
Josh Chakowski already with a 41-yard field goal today. That's a season long. First down for NC State. And Wilson's going to run. And he's going to lose yardage. Pierre Bell makes the tackle. Loss of 1 or 2 on the play. You don't want that, obviously.
And you can't get too conservative as well.
NC State threw a pick 6. East Carolina led 7-0. Then he had the fumble recovery in the second quarter. That big stop by North Carolina State when East Carolina elected to go for it on 4th and goal. And then the forced fumble in overtime by McKean. Second down and 11. Andre Brown to the outside, slips a tackle inside the 10-yard line. Do you kick it now, or do you run another play or two?
Well, I think you run another play or two. Andre Brown, we talk about senior leadership all day long for East Carolina, and it's shown up in the form of Andre Brown, the senior from Greenville, North Carolina, right where East Carolina University is located. But you see him right here. Nice little job, and watch the extra effort. You see a guy running hard right there, cutting, determination. You think he wants to win today? Absolutely.
Nick Johnson shaken up with the ball on the far hash mark. How much you want to bet this is going to be a running play to the left? Try to get the ball in the middle field.
That's right. Get it back in the middle of the field.
We saw a short field goal missed by West Virginia in that game Thursday when the ball was on the left hash. Look how calm and cool Tom O'Brien remains.
You know, that demeanor has not changed all day, has it? You know, there's been a lot of fires to put out, but he has not.
Here's Brown to the 5. Brown to the goal line. Touchdown! A potential BCS buster busted. And it's a kid from Greenville, where East Carolina is located. Andre Brown, that scores the game winner for North Carolina State to take down East Carolina and end any hopes of a shot at a BCS game.
Well, here it is right here. Nice little underneath handoff when we talked about the determination, breaking tackles, fighting, scratching, 2 guys on his back and stretching the ball across the goal line. What an excellent effort by Andre Brown. There's a little emotion from Tom O'Brien, the head coach.
And Skip Holtz's reaction after Patrick Pinckney, the veteran quarterback, fumbles the ball in overtime.
What a tough loss. He fought, played a good ball game. I thought both quarterbacks in this game, you know, kind of a seesaw battle, back and forth between 2 guys, a redshirt freshman quarterback for North Carolina State, Russell Wilson, and a senior quarterback for East Carolina. Neither one of them had to hang their head, but just when you had to make a play, it was the guys in red making the last play over the guys in the white jerseys.
30-24, North Carolina State upsets number 15 East Carolina. Andre Brown into the end zone to win it for the Wolfpack. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Up next on ESPN, College Football Scoreboard, presented by Acura. For Andre Ware, I'm Dave Pasch. So long from Raleigh. Now Reese, Mark, and Lou in the studio.